My friend kept his vasectomy a secret from his wife.
That's not good. Trigger warning for mentions of miscarriages.
I, 28 male, have known my friend Kevin, 28 male, and his wife Emily, 27 female, since high school. The three of us went to different colleges and stayed close throughout. They got together towards the end of our first year and got married soon after graduation. They have been married around 6 years and together around 9. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we all moved back to the metro area where we grew up. My wife and I spend a lot of time with them. She and Emily have grown to be very good friends. And Kevin and I also spend quite a bit of time together, as I was always closer to him than Emily anyway. Before getting married, Kevin and Emily had disagreements about children. Emily was very set on having children, and Kevin wasn't sure that he wanted any. Kevin eventually said he would think about it, and they didn't discuss it again until after they got married. Around 5 years ago, Emily started bringing up that she was ready to start trying to get pregnant. Kevin was adamantly against having children at that point and told her that he wanted to wait until he was more stable in his career. He was still at his first post-college job in a field where junior-level employees typically have a 2 to 4 year shelf life before moving on. He told her that he wanted to wait a few years, as she would probably stay at home after having the baby. Kevin confided in me that while the career explanation was true, it wasn't the whole truth. He was still unsure that he actually wanted kids at all and wanted to put it off until he was sure. After much discussion, Emily agreed to wait until Kevin had a more permanent job. Around 2.5 years ago, that happened. He took a job with one of his long-term clients with better pay, benefits, schedule, and job security. Almost immediately after he took the job, Emily brought up getting pregnant, and Kevin agreed to start trying. Oh, wow.
Oh
boy.
Oh, I see you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unforgivable.
As far as I knew at the time, Kevin agreed, and Emily stopped taking birth control. Flash forward to the present. No children yet. Up until this point, as I understand it anyway, their only attempts at conceiving have been to continue their normal activities, sans birth control. Since this hasn't worked, Emily has started discussing the possibility of going to a fertility doctor to see if there are any problems. The women on her mother's side of the family have a history of having problems conceiving, although with eventual success. Emily's grandmother and mother were 29 before they were able to conceive, with both trying since their early 20s. Yesterday, Kevin confided in me that before he left his previous job, he had a vasectomy without telling Emily.
Wow.
Because he knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to be the thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So now that her family has a history of that, he's probably going to try to blame it on her and have her think that she's the problem.
Unforgivable.
Oh my gosh. After picking my jaw up off the floor, I started asking him questions to figure out why the heck he would do that. Apparently, after he began to put out feelers for a new job, a process that took about a year, Emily had brought up going ahead and getting pregnant. Kevin pushed back pretty hard to wait, and she told him that that was fine. Evidently, Kevin was really leaning towards not wanting children. After he got the new job and they started trying to conceive, I just figured he changed his mind and got on board. Shortly after they once again agreed to wait, Kevin became suspicious that Emily wasn't taking her birth control. He would check her pill packs, but he wasn't able to confirm one way or another if she was taking them regularly. According to him, Emily was acting suspiciously and was initiating spicy sleep much more often than usual. Evidently, after considering the evidence available to him, he was convinced that she had stopped taking her birth control and was trying to get pregnant after they agreed to wait. He was angry, but didn't want to confront her with the evidence that could be explained away easily. At this point, I don't know if she was actually taking her birth control or not. He could have been right or just paranoid. Given his lack of trust of Emily and his increasing desire to not have children, he decided to get a vasectomy and not tell her. There was a point where he was traveling for his job and was going to be a few states away for about a week and a half. He was somehow able to arrange to get a vasectomy done during that time. The initial trip was supposed to be 10 days, but a weekend snowstorm caused his flight to be canceled, and his employer ended up needing him to stay another few days anyway. The timing worked out to where the soreness and swelling was gone by the time that he returned from the trip, and according to him, the scar is completely unnoticeable unless you shine a flashlight on the bottom of his balls and look closely. So, in the past 3 years, she has never suspected anything. He always had his insurance information sent to his office, had enough spare cash to cover his copay and medications, and he changed insurance when he took his new job, so there aren't any records laying around. So that was all well and good for a few years, but now he's in a tight spot because if Emily goes to the fertility doctor and things check out on her end, the next logical step is for him to get tested, at which point it will be obvious to the doctor that he had a vasectomy. He gambled on the fact that Emily's family has a history of problems conceiving, so maybe there will be issues there to place blame on. See, dude.
Yeah,
And
of course
that-
he was. Yeah, and that's the horrible thing is he was getting blamed on.
Horrible. Yes, because it's
your
like
fault.
that. You know, I haven't been in this kind of situation, but from what I have heard, it's like even though that's an okay thing to, you know, not be able to conceive and there's other options and everything, everyone that can't seems to be so devastated by that
it
fact.
does cause a lot. There's a lot. I mean, like just I think there often are feelings of shame around
For sure.
around it. Not that there should be,
Yeah.
but I think that like they're just that kind of comes up.
Right.
And to knowingly put that on your partner when you know why you're not conceiving is just despicable.
You're just not thinking about her feelings at all in this
Yeah.
situation. He has no idea what to do, but guesses that he can stretch this out a year or two before he has to go get tested. I am really struggling with this. On the one hand, Kevin is my best friend. On the other hand, he is being totally deceitful to Emily, one of my closest friends. I'm not judging him for not wanting kids, but this is something that he should have communicated to her before now. If he had talked to me about the situation before he got the vasectomy, I would have told him that he needed to break things off with her and move on if he was sure that he didn't want kids. It wouldn't be fair to her, and it wouldn't be fair to him if they ended up having children when he didn't want to. But that's not what happened.
And I think, I mean, Carly, you're pointing it out, but Kelsey Jade says it's way easier for men to get a vasectomy. It's reversible and tubal litigation is not.
I was just answering that.
Yeah, but
I
the
was
thing
gonna
with, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
cleared
We're
it.
probably
already.
about to say the same thing.
I cleared
so
it,
please
but
go
yeah, I was gonna say like it's stupid and like for sure one is reversible, but that still shouldn't limit the fact that like it's so hard for a woman to get one, regardless of if they're like you shouldn't need your
Well, yeah,
partner's permission.
Often doctors will say like, "Are you sure that your
Right. Or
husband
they'll
or your
need
think
partner is
about
your
it for a
friend?"
whole
They'll need
day,
permission
Or
something.
like, "Oh, you can't get it until you've had your first child."
right?
That's often,
bring
like,
your
a-
husband or partner back, and they can sign off on
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
pretty effed up.
incredibly, especially as a woman in your 20s, to get to get that procedure done. It's incredibly hard. A doctor will not approve of it.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't want to say will not, but like it's very hard for them to approve it.
Right. We love being women in this medical system we've got. It's great. It's great. He's been lying to her for years. I can't tell my wife about this because I have no doubt that she will call Emily and tell her immediately. I'm trying to decide whether I should tell Emily, tell Kevin that he has to tell Emily, or I will, or completely stay out of the situation. I feel bad about the entire situation and I don't want to break up their marriage or destroy one or more friendships, but I also don't want Emily to waste any more of her time when having kids is such a big deal to her. What the heck do I do? Edit 1, thanks for the advice, everyone. He's decided on a course of action, but I want your guys' thoughts. What do you think he should do in this situation? Should he
What
tell?
should OP do?
Yeah, should he tell Emily directly? Tell
I
what's
think
his
he.
name?
I think he tells the friend,
Kevin. Yeah,
"Tell your wife, or I will."
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Give him the chance to come clean,
Give
Yeah.
a deadline, and
Yeah.
then be like, and then I'm telling her.
and then I'm
Right.
telling her. 'Cause
I
that's
can't
okay.
stay silent about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's definitely not gonna tell her.
Yeah.
No.
This has been a thing that
It's been going on for years that he
Years.
just didn't even want kids. That's
Yeah.
been a thing.
And she's gonna sit there so upset at herself,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
blaming herself for
Yeah.
no fault of her own.
Right. And also too, it's like that's not even going to work in the long run too, because there are other options to getting kids. So she's gonna
Right.
push for
Other
other
options.
options.
You're just wasting her time.
Right. And he said that he wants to stretch this out, the testing thing out for another year or two. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, this is so unfair.
I fully also don't believe the whole like, and I think she was like purposely not taking her birth.
He
Dude,
said he
Yeah.
couldn't find any evidence
Dude,
one way or another.
it's
No
the
evidence.
week. If it's the one I'm thinking of, if it's the daily pill one, it's what day does it say on the top? Has
Yeah.
she taken it today?
Right.
Like,
Is it there?
how bad of tracking are we doing for this?
Yeah.
And why didn't we just have a conversation then and there?
Yeah,
Like,
And also the
'cause-
fact that he thought that and then didn't have a conversation with her.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Don't buy
And like, sure, you could just like throw it away, I guess, but like, why?
it. Yeah.
Why are we jumping there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if she is doing it, awful too.
Right.
Not okay.
Sure.
However, the assumption that he's making and then to not even have a conversation with your partner and instead have like a spiteful decision made off of an assumption.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have an edit. I think I have decided on a course of action. I am meeting up with Kevin for drinks in an hour or so. I'm going to give him this ultimatum. Either he tells Emily within 3 days or I will. I'm also going to tell my wife after my meeting with Kevin because I can't keep something like this from her and live with myself. I will try to get her to sit on the information as long as possible, but if she tells Emily, then I can't fault her for doing what is probably the right thing. I'm going to tell Kevin that I am telling my wife as soon as I get home and impress upon him the strong possibility that she will tell Emily before he has a chance. This will give him an incentive to tell her sooner rather than later. Update. Just left from talking with Kevin. I took the exact approach outlined in my first edit, and it went as well as one could hope. He was understanding and apologized for putting me in this situation. He understood my need to tell my wife and said that he wished he had taken that approach in his own marriage. He realizes he needs to tell Emily and that the marriage is likely over. After some reflection, he thinks this is probably for the best because she will never trust him again and he really doesn't want kids. He's going to sit down and talk with her tomorrow afternoon. And there is a second update. Just finished talking with my wife. Holy F, I have one heck of an update soon. I don't have time to write it out right now because I need to go to sleep. I'm pretty drained from all this. I'll update this sometime tomorrow. Update 3. So, a lot has happened since last night. Holy heck. First off, Emily isn't pregnant, as far as anyone knows. So, sorry if you were hoping for that.
I was not hoping for that.
I wouldn't even think of
Really
it.
don't want this woman to be pregnant with a husband that doesn't want kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to write what happened chronologically so it makes more sense. Here we go. So, I told my wife everything last night after I got home from meeting with Kevin. As you might expect, she was absolutely floored that he would do this to her, given how much she wants kids. She didn't take it as bad as I thought she would, though, which was weird at the time. I really thought her reaction was going to be to say that we need to tell Emily immediately, drive over to their house in a blinding rage, etc. Instead, she told me that she had something to tell me that she had been keeping a secret for a long while. What? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Okay, well now I'm feeling like she was.
Now I'm worried.
Yeah, now I'm worrying about the birth control.
Well, maybe.
And she's excited.
I'm excited.
Let's hear it.
Now I'm thinking maybe, I don't know. We're just going to find out. Okay. Evidently, a little over a year ago, Emily and my wife were discussing Kevin and Emily's attempts at conceiving. It wasn't unusual for them to talk about this, since at that point they had been trying for over a year. On this night, though, Emily had had quite a bit to drink and opened up to my wife more than usual. Emily was desperate to start going to the fertility doctor, but Kevin wanted to wait because they hadn't been trying very long. Unless I misunderstood him, Kevin seemed to imply that Emily had only recently started suggesting to go to a fertility doctor. But nope. She has been telling him that she wanted to go for over a year. My wife asked her why she wanted to go so soon since they hadn't been trying that long. Emily told her that she had been trying for nearly 4 years. Oh, whoa.
Wow.
What the F? Emily stopped taking her birth control while Kevin was still at his old job before he ever started looking for a new one. You were right.
Oh, you got a couple of a-holes.
Oh,
a couple
no.
of a-holes in a marriage.
I'm so sad.
I was imagining
A-hole
like
marriage.
she's been cheating on him and like she wants out of the relationship anyway.
Ooh, yeah, a couple
Oh
of
my
a-holes in
gosh.
love.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes,
That's
dude. So he was right.
Sounds like you both have some big confessions to make.
Hey, sounds like you should probably break up.
That too. Oh my God. She pretended to take her pills, hoping that she would get pregnant and she could blame it on the fact that birth control isn't 100% effective.
Yoicks.
She stopped taking her pills around 6 months before Kevin started looking for a job. This is the same time at which she started pressuring Kevin to move on from that job. So Kevin agrees that it's time to leave this job. He starts talking with headhunters, gently approaching his current clients, etc. They have the above-mentioned talk about going ahead and trying to conceive. Kevin says no, and she agrees to wait. The reason she brought it up on that particular day is that she thought she might be getting close to getting pregnant, given that her period was irregular and she had been trying for 6 months. About a week and a half later, Kevin is out of state for work. He is gone from Sunday night and is supposed to return late on Friday. Emily had been hoping to surprise him with the good news when he returned, but it didn't work out the way she planned. She calls my wife during this time, clearly upset about something. My wife goes over to her house to comfort her. So Emily is obviously frustrated about this, but manages to get herself together by the time Kevin comes back. She doesn't say anything about her disappointment, but immediately redoubles her efforts to conceive. My guess is that this would be the time where Kevin becomes suspicious about her behavior. He was right that she wasn't taking her birth control, and he became more aware of her desperation during this period. As far as anyone knows, Emily never got pregnant between this time and when Kevin had the vasectomy. During a routine visit, Emily asked her OBGYN if there were any problems conceiving and her mentioned concerns about timing and family history. The OBGYN identified something with her uterus that could possibly cause an issue, but said she couldn't be sure from a routine exam. She suggested that Emily see a fertility specialist and gave her a referral. Evidently, Opie loves that word. Evidently, the specialist wanted to do the first consultation with both Kevin and Emily there, so Emily couldn't start that process until Kevin was on board with conceiving. So that's the state of things. Emily was lying to Kevin about being on birth control for at least 1.5 years. My wife never told me because she wasn't sure what to do, since they had officially started trying to have children by the time Emily told her about all this. My wife decided to keep the information to herself because it didn't matter at that point anyway. I called Kevin and told him about this late last night. He wasn't as upset as I thought he would be because he already figured that Emily had stopped taking her birth control back then, although it was actually 6 months before he caught on. He was pretty upset about the miscarriage and felt really bad that Emily had to keep this to herself for all these years. As of right now, he hasn't talked to her yet. That will happen later this afternoon or tonight. And by the way, what could happen later this afternoon or tonight is you listening to full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story, but wow, dude.
Dang, man, oh man.
Well, Reddit, the situation has resolved itself. Kevin and Emily talked for a long time yesterday, and they've agreed that it's best for them to split up. Too much damage done, and the lies they told each other were too big. Not to mention the kids issue. I wasn't there, obviously, but I've talked to them both. They seem better than I expected. Both of them are really angry, but as much as directed at themselves as each other. Strangely enough, they were both really glad for my involvement.
So funny.
Emily wasn't even pissed at my wife for telling me about the birth control situation. I have no idea whether my wife and I will be able to remain friends with either of them.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I feel like...
I think that's over.
Yeah. They were both really deceitful to each other and to us, but I think I'm willing to move past that eventually. We'll see how this goes. Thanks to everyone who commented. I don't think I would have approached the situation correctly were it not for some of the responses that I got here. And that's the end of that story. Wow, dude. Wow.
Hoo-wee.
Plot twist there.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's like they both realized that they were terrible people, and they were like,
Yeah.
I guess this is a draw.
Right. Touche.
Touche.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
I do still hope that they break up though, because
Oh,
ultimately he
please.
still doesn't want
And
kids.
she still does.
Oh, yeah.
Like, please break up.
I think
Please
they're on the
break
way
up.
to that, but yeah, that is just
Yeah.
so... Which is so crazy because, like, obviously they're both in the wrong and they should have communicated this whole time. But, like, he was right.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy
I
that
guess,
he caught
like,
that.
Yeah, what he should have done is talk to her about the birth control thing.
Probably would have saved them a lot of time.
Right. But silver lining,
He was right.
he was protected with his
Yeah.
vasectomy. But obviously still not a good thing to do.
No.
I wish that he had talked to her right then and there. Ultimately, though, I'm like, dude,
Right.
you started this whole thing by not figuring out
Yeah.
what the heck you wanted this whole time.
Yeah,
And
literally.
stringing this poor girl into a marriage with you when you know you
Yes.
don't want kids.
Yeah, you're both the
Yes.
a-holes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Great job. Yeah, that's the end of that story.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.
My father had to keep me a secret because of his fiance.
Secret baby, secret baby.
Trigger warning, mentions of abuse. I, 33 female, met my dad and brother, now 31 male, when I was 22. We hit it off. It truly felt like we had never been apart. It was easy talking, laughing, and getting to know them. When I was told of his at-the-time girlfriend Lily and her 2 daughters, I was elated, even naively excited to have a mother figure since my relationship with my actual mother was rather harmful and chaotic. By the way, this comes from Daddy Issues T. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit where this one is submitted to. It's one of you guys submitted this with your daddy issues.
Yes.
Love it. And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So if you have any comments about this, please put it down below. Nobody says. However, when I met Lily, it was tense.
Like how many tenths?
The woman was cold, unyielding in her frown, and just not very welcoming.
Damn, unyielding in her frown is I've never heard that before. What a amazing way to describe a little spoil sport. Like
That's a good description.
unyielding in her frown.
Ugh.
Is that right? That's what it said?
Yeah, unyielding in her frown.
It sounds like very like medieval. Unyielding in her frown.
We all had dinner together, and I adored my stepsisters. I remembered while one of my stepsisters was in conversation with my dad, I asked Lily about her daughter's drama school arts. Lily snapped at me. I don't mean a quiet snap either. She silenced the table, and another table even peered at us. She said, "You can ask her. She's right there."
That's a strong vibe to bring to the dinner function.
Then she continued to say how rude I was for not addressing her daughter directly. I shrunk. Maybe she was right to be upset, but I was only trying to have a conversation with her since we weren't a part of the current one, and I wanted to get to know her. My dad changed the subject, and I stopped trying to make conversation with Lily after that. Her eldest, Jane, 12 female at the time, gave an apologetic smile. Happy to say our relationship then was great, but she stopped talking to me, and I haven't heard from her since because she was afraid of her mother's reaction if she were to contact me. Lily, what's your problem, dude?
Sounds like it's OP.
Because OP also has a brother, but is the brother with Lily and her dad? Or Lily and her husband, OP's dad? Because the only reason I think Lily has a problem with OP is because it reminds Lily that OP's dad has been with other women.
I don't know. It really could be so many different things. That's a good guess.
Sophia, you got a
It's
theory?
I agree with that theory.
Yeah.
A year or so after meeting them all, my dad offered me to come and stay with him and his now fiancée Lily across the country. He said Lily felt sorry for her reaction towards me.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. But she's saying that?
Did she say it directly to you?
Yeah, you gotta apologize to me, big dog.
And when he explained that I was coming from a good place, just trying to have a conversation with her, she understood and wanted to get to know me better.
Hey, stupid. When someone just asks you something about, I don't know, your daughter, like, you can just answer the question. Of course. What did you think you were trying to do? That's just such a nonsense, like, oh, well, once I explained to her how conversations work, she realized that she was wrong.
I was elated and hopeful, like a naive girl I once was. I took them up on their offer. It was hell!
It was a living nightmare.
He offered me a room, told me it was a safe neighborhood, and that I could stay for 6 months to a year. The room was under a staircase and was just big enough for my one twin bed and nothing else.
Harry Potter under the stairs.
Upon arriving, I discovered that wasn't true, and Lily seemed anything but happy to see me. Although she tried. I guess they had me stay in their camper van while they prepared the room in a city where 2 people were unalived across the street from us during my first few months there. Fun, right?
Yeah, it's like urban camping.
Urban camping.
Where you live, Detroit?
I was gonna say Chicago. You got a city?
A city?
You got a city that
San Bernardino.
That I hate?
no, not hate, but like has criminal activity.
Where someone would be summarily executed in front of you.
Gastonia.
One. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Skid Row.
No.
She promised to get the bedroom ready, but that never happened. I eventually was forced to stay in an empty, musty basement after she sold the van. I'm going to list a few crucial things here. She sold the van?
While you were living in it? Did she sell it with all your stuff in it? I'm sorry.
What?
What's going on here?
My dad had to keep our hangout secret. We couldn't tell Lily we had a breakfast spot. Couldn't tell her where we hung out in the backyard while she was at work either. My brother was sent off to the military during this time, and Lily didn't allow my father to wait with him for his plane. The tears in my brother's eyes that he tried to hide still hurt my heart to think about. And yes, I gave my dad heck for it. Lily did truly agree for me to live there, but upon my arrival and seeing my relationship with my dad, decided she couldn't like me. This was awkwardly overheard one.
Why? How do you stay with this woman, you little jellyfish man? What are you doing?
Dude,
Jellyfish man,
This is
what
so
do you
weird.
do with your jellyfish hands?
yeah, I'm very perplexed of what the beef is between Lily and OP. Like, why?
It does.
Lily,
It
why?
seems like she's jealous that she has a connection with her father,
Oh, yeah.
which is crazy.
Lily and my dad fought over his relationship with me, and my dad explained to me that the way she sees the world is that people can't love multiple people.
That's crazy.
So if she loves one of her daughters that day, she doesn't love the other.
Psychopath.
How she viewed my father's love for me was that, 1, I was seen as another woman, not really his daughter, because he didn't raise me. 2, if he loved me or my brother, she's more lenient towards my brother, then he didn't love her or her daughters.
Hey, can I send you back to the laboratory they built you in? Can I send you back to the manufacturer because they put you together wrong? Do I get a refund? Maybe like even a rebate would be great.
I don't think she came from a lab. I'm not going to say where I think she came from, because that would be mean.
She came from a cloning tube. She was cloned.
Theoretically, we both have cloning tubes.
I'll let that one go.
Younger me felt so angry, but also awful that it caused so much tension between them by simply existing and wanting a relationship with my dad. Like, that's even your fault, OP.
Like, how do you, honestly, if I hear this from anyone I'm with, first of all, if my partner doesn't let me go to see my son off at the airport when he's going to the military, we're done. But hearing this new deep lore dropped about you, it's over. I'm afraid of you now, first of all. I am afraid of what you could do, and we're no longer together. What is wrong with your father?
I tried to mend this. I made a plan with my dad where we went to the beach and found a small bag of sand dollars. I was going to buy roses, place them in a heart with the sand dollars, and lay them out and lay out a lunch for my dad and her to have a date on the beach. My dad was going to bring her to surprise her, and I'd make myself scarce, obviously. Lily was apparently livid by the sheer idea of it. She knew my dad was up to something and demanded in a panic for him to tell her what he was doing. The reason she was so angry was because of her spiritual belief towards sand dollars, and apparently how if you find them with someone, it means you have some deep spiritual bond. Is this real? It may be somewhere.
I mean, sure, but it's like, imagine she just like buys a bunch of sand dollars online and just starts like leaving them around like places for the dad to like find. She's like, oh wow, a giant like a big like oil drum shows up. She's like, what is this? What could it be? It's just full of sand dollars. And she's like, oh, I guess that's a sign that we need to be together forever. Only us.
Oh, but it's quite the opposite, Dakota. Since my dad and I had found a lot, and she apparently had never found one with him, she felt I had one-upped on her and was stealing him.
He's her dad.
He's her dad, you idiot,
He's
Russell
her
Mama says.
dad. This
Yeah.
woman needs to be sent to an institution.
So yeah, that's some of our past. To explain, it all would make this post longer than it already is. Anyway, I moved shortly after that event and came back home. I didn't hear from my dad for years, except a happy birthday almost every year. When my dad reconnected with me at 28 years old, mind you, 6 years later, I found out his disconnect was due to Lily giving him an ultimatum. Her and the girls, or his relationship with me.
Yeah, you know, she's so crazy. It's gotta go crazy.
Oh,
it's gotta
man.
be one of the, how else?
Why else would he be with
why
her?
else would you? What other spell could be cast?
She rich? She have a big one? I'm perplexed.
I'm stupefied.
He chose them. And yes, my dad is very apologetic about this, and I've chosen to forgive him. Okay, that's a big thing for you to do, OP. I also found out that they moved to my state, which is where my dad also grew up. My dad and I had a somewhat secret relationship ever since. Mind you, OP is 33 now, so this has been going on for about 5 years, this secret relationship. She knows he sees me, but doesn't want to know when. She knows we talk and reads messages between us. My dad's freedom is very limited because she always needs him to do something, so he's barely allowed to leave the house or do anything on his own terms. Whoosh, whoosh.
I would rather be single the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Truly.
Does he like doing these things? If he does, then great. That's a cool relationship. But dude, what the
Just
heck?
tell your dad to leave this woman and that the spicy robots are just around the corner.
They're actually,
That's gonna
You can-
actually, just a quick aside, that will ruin the planet.
yeah.
That will ruin us.
Yeah, there's you can buy a Chinese robot wife for $3,000.
And can you imagine what the AIs will do once they've learned what we've been doing to the robots? It's not gonna be as
He says it's gotten better and that she has been going to therapy to try and to overcome her jealousy of our relationship, but she still isn't ready years later, and I'm now 33. Mind you, they haven't seen each other in 11 years. I'm at a point where I'm thinking of giving my dad a talking to. My partner and I are planning on getting married and having children, and I will not tolerate his relationship with them being kept secret like it's something to be ashamed of. I can't even fathom explaining to my kids why their papa can't see them on holidays. He's not allowed to contact me or see me on holidays, or why they can't stay the night there with him like their friends can with their grandparents. I also don't want my kids to be there if she's going to be an absolute witch to them simply because they're mine or because of her wild belief that my father can't love more than one person at a time. I want them to have a good relationship with him, to go camping, bike rides when they're big enough, hear his funny war stories, and go fishing with him. I want them to have my dad in their lives, especially since their relationship with my mother will be very limited. But I worry about Lily's control on my dad. Lily has proven herself to be emotionally unstable over the years. And even now, I don't feel like she's a safe person to be around my future children or a positive influence on my father. She already stands between our hangouts she's found out about through reading his texts and has been sick or commanded him to work on the house instead of having lunch with me. We've had to keep our father-daughter camping trip a secret, and I don't want my kids to have to tiptoe like I do in order to have a relationship with him. I know how much it hurts me, and I don't want them to experience this hurt as well. And by the way, if you're hurt, you need a crazy story to read or listen to, go to your favorite podcast platform and search up OK Storytime for more stories just like this. Dakota, Sophia, what are you going to talk to this dad about in this talk to?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I'm gonna turn around, give him an ultimatum. I'm gonna say you either pick me and your future grandchild or them.
Wow.
That's it. Because forget this guy, dude. You're his daughter. He's already chosen this woman over his son and you, and probably anything else. And if you don't leave after you hear that insane explanation about love, then that's like crazy. Like, yeah, she can grow and become a better person. She doesn't have to do it while she's with you. Yeah, so I just say do that. You give him the ultimatum. You say, since you're such a fan of these, I figured I'd give you one myself.
Sophia?
Yeah, you either pick us or you pick her, and then we have nothing to do with you ever again. Don't call me. Don't write me a letter. Don't tell me 7 years from now how much you regret it. Live with it forever and make your decision. That's my call, because I'm over this guy.
I just think that he's kind of betrayed your trust a lot.
Mm-hmm. It may be easier for your kids to not have a relationship with your dad. Yep. But we have a little bit left here. I want to tell my dad he needs to put his foot down with Lily and get his freedom back. I'd care less if Lily has anything to do with my children, but I sure as heck won't put up with her standing between them and their relationship with their grandpa. However, I'm worried. I don't want to cause drama for my dad, and I guess in the long run, I'm at a loss on what to say or how to handle the situation properly. Any advice is appreciated. No, I have tried to speak with Lily. I've offered a hand to her to meet me for lunch or just meet up and talk in her own space or anywhere she's comfortable. She denies it every time. I even wrote a letter to her expressing my desire to start over with her as I'm unable to talk to her myself. So all conversations go through my dad. Apparently, she has appreciated the sentiment and believes I'm a nice girl. But she isn't ready to meet me again because of her jealousy issues, as she calls them. She's not working through it. This is...
And that was from our subreddit?
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I thought the kids weren't born yet. Kids already born? Yeah. Ultimatum should happen yesterday. Say, I'm not giving you a chance to, I don't know. I would repeat that whole thing about how Lily's sense of love is literally the most skewed nonsense thing I've ever heard.
That is wild, yeah.
And then be like, if you want to decide to stay in a toxic relationship with this woman who's going to other your children and grandchildren because she's so cripplingly jealous that she can't even accept that another person exists that you care about, that's fine. Stay out of my life. Stay out of my grandkids' life. I'll just tell them that, I don't know, the story will change over time. Right now, it's he can't come over because he's sick. And then older, I'll be like, he's sick with a terrible wife. And let him be a cautionary tale of what happens when you let a toxic person dictate your entire life.
The thing I'm really scared for is OP's dad's mental health, because I believe that people have multiple purposes. You know, like my purpose as a human being is to, you know, give people smiles, be a good brother, be a good boyfriend, all these different things. If her belief is that you can only love one person at a time, then I feel like Opie's dad seems to not ever leave the house. The only purpose that he has to ever live is for her and to worship her. Thus, I believe his mental health is definitely declining. All he can and is supposed to focus on is her. I feel like he might be depressed. I feel like he's in a really bad headspace and needs to separate from this. That is not healthy. And then two, it's crazy that Lily looks at you as some affair partner baby. Affair baby. That's not the case at all. I think that's really it, is because Opie's dad had a relationship with another woman and then met Lily, and she's just upset that she isn't the only woman in her life, in his life.
Yeah, I think Lily just wants it to be to her. She's the only person in his life other than the extension of herself, which is her children. So those are the only people who are greenlit to exist in his life.
Yeah, and everything she says is hypocritical. No, talk to her directly, not me. And you can't even talk to OP, who's someone you have a problem with, directly. No, you can't love your daughter and me and my kids at the same time. Oh, I thought you can only love one person at a time. She just...
Weird.
But bananas. She's just bananas.
I can only love one daughter per day.
Wild.
Oh, hi. There's the door. I'm just going to go check out this door really quick. I'm going to check out this side. Oh, it opens. Okay, I'm going to close it. Check out the other side. And then you sprint.
Boom, boom, boom.
Sprint away.
Guys, that's the end of that story.
My adoptive parents hid heirlooms from my biological family. They refused to tell me why.
It's because they're cursed.
Trigger warning, mentions of abuse. A bit of backstory first. I, 25, have a younger brother, 23, and we were both adopted from birth from separate birth parents. My parents tried to have children of their own, but after 3 attempts were unsuccessful and went the route of adoption instead. By the way, this comes from Mildly Worried, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we found out when we were young that we were adopted, but we weren't concerned with learning about our birth families at the time, so we didn't push for information. As we've grown older, I've become more interested in my own history and heritage, but haven't questioned my adopted parents about it because I was concerned it would hurt their feelings. I have never gotten along super well with my adopted parents, and since I've come out as a member of the LGBT community, our relationship has become a lot more strained. My relationship with my brother isn't much better, as he physically and emotionally mistreated me throughout our childhood, which my parents didn't stop or punish. Within the last few years, I, 25, discovered that I have a half-sister, and have since opened communication with her and my bio mom, 50. What started as casually talking turned into a discussion about my adoption process, and I've learned some worrying things. According to my bio mom, my adoptive mom swore that I would be adopted into their family as an only child because of their losses and a desire to have just one child to raise. My bio mom wanted to make sure I would be given to parents who were going to take care of me, and used this as a factor. 2 years later, my brother was adopted into the family. It's also been said that I was sent off with a variety of items to show from my family, including several heirlooms, a handmade ring to match my bio mom's, letters from everyone in the family, and a scrapbook with pictures of everyone in the family. She also informed me of some of my family medical history, including that we have a history of depression, ADHD, bipolar disorder, and several other mental illnesses running in the family, all of which I have been diagnosed with at a late stage in my life.
That's like, I hope it should be criminal to withhold this kind of information from somebody.
I absolutely agree that, like, the fact that you can hide medical information from like an adoptee is, or like a child who's adopted, ridiculous.
Should be fully like going to jail over that.
I have not seen or heard of any of this stuff existing and feel that I really could have benefited from knowing my medical history. Yeah. Early on, so I could get treated right away. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. That happened to my best friend. Not to out anybody, but yeah, he found out from his mom that he's like predisposed for diabetes.
No,
and he's like 30 something. He's like, why didn't I know this earlier?
Exactly.
She's like, I don't know. I just never told you.
I'm really bothered by the fact that after 25 years, I had to hear that this was held from me by my birth mom. If I hadn't reconnected with her, I don't think I'd ever have found out. I want to know what happened to these belongings and why this was hidden from me, but I don't know how to begin asking about it. My brother was told early on that his bio parents wanted nothing to do with him, and although we never got along, I'm not going to spit in his face by straight up asking in front of him. I have a feeling that he has at least a small part in why it was hidden. I'm not saying that it was his fault, of course, but that he was just a factor, since he would have wondered why he never got anything from his bio family, but I did. My brother and I have honestly gotten a lot closer since we've left our parents' house, and I try not to hold anything against him for his past mistakes, so I don't want to accidentally hurt him while asking about this. I'm really confused, and this is eating away at me. Please, if anyone has any suggestions for me, I'm open to hearing them. I have an appointment with my therapist and plan to talk to her, but that's not for several weeks, and I could really use advice from a third party. Thanks. And there is an edit and an update, but do you have any thoughts?
I mean, it's my conspiracy would just be that it's like it was just a little too complicated to tell you.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like,
probably the feelings of, oh, we didn't know how to tell you, or the feelings of, well, you're our child now. Who cares about
right.
You know,
It's
what
like
she
you don't
wanted?
need your real parents. That's us.
Yeah, that's us.
We didn't want to confuse you.
Yeah. No. Edit. I know there's a good chance that my adoptive parents are likely lying to my brother as well. That's also a good point.
Yeah, actually, I
That's
meant
what I
to
was
say
thinking.
that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because they could be like, oh, yeah, they hate you. They want nothing to do with
hated
you.
you.
And the kid
Ugh.
will be like, all right, I believe that because I'm a child.
Yeah, I mean, like, why would you ever tell your child that you're, you know?
'Cause I don't know.
I feel
This
like you
feels
could be like,
a-
oh, there was, you know, they were going through a really hard time and they just couldn't handle being parent. Like, I feel like you don't have to be like, your parents hated you.
There's something
They
fishy
didn't want
going
you.
on because they also told OP's bio family that it was like, oh, it's going to be the only child and I want to raise an only child.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's
And then like immediately
it's like, why would you?
did
I don't know.
not stick to that.
I just don't want to say anything to him that might hurt him unintentionally or close him off to the idea of bringing it up with our adoptive parents. And there is a small update. I asked my brother if he would be interested in doing a DNA test, like 23andMe, with me to open up a conversation about things, and he agreed. So it's just a matter of figuring out when. I'll post a better update once I have a talk with him. And there is an update. I think that OP's going around about this the right way, like getting the information and stuff, and then, you know, approaching the topic with her parents.
Yeah.
Or with their parents. I don't think we call
I
it
would
the
agree.
gender.
You got to gather your information, get some ducks lined up
Yeah.
so you can quack at your adoptive parents about why they've hidden
All this
your
information from you.
medical. Like literally forget everything else and be like, I needed to know about my medical history or my
Yeah.
medical background.
Well,
Why would you keep this from me?
You know what? It was a lot of like mental health medical background. So maybe they're the type of people that are like, oh, that's not real.
They're like, oh, if they don't know that they can have it, then they won't get
And
it.
they won't have it. Which is silly. In short, I, 25, have recently been in contact with my biological mother, 50s, and half-sister, 21. I was adopted at birth because my bio money didn't have the money to take care of me at the time. As we've gotten to know each other, she told me about various items, such as photos, letters, gifts, and family heirlooms that she had gifted me before I was adopted. Needless to say, I never received these items, which really hurt. I ended up asking my adoptive mom, 58, about it when I went to visit her, and my adoptive dad, 65, for Christmas. It went about as well as expected. She started off by claiming she had no idea what I was talking about and that she didn't remember anything being sent with me. Luckily, my bio mom had a picture of the gift basket she had sent, as well as details of other items she sent over the years, and I had taken a picture of it. When I showed her the picture, she proceeded to say that she had no idea where it would be and that it was probably misplaced or lost when we moved homes when I was younger. That's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Ooh,
to say.
I intentionally lost it. I mean, I accidentally lost it.
I accidentally lost your family heirlooms.
Yes.
Sorry.
I accidentally cast it into the fireplace.
Everything was probably gone by now. I told her that I had located or recognized a few of the items in the basket, such as a couple of stuffed animals and a Bible for kids, which she had passed off as coming from other relatives when I was little. For example, a teddy bear that was in the basket came from my maternal grandmother, not my bio mom. The piece that I really wanted was a beautiful scrapbook that my bio mom had made for me, which I begged her to find. She claimed she had no idea where it would be, but I'm convinced that is a lie. The reason I believe this is because I have recently come out as non-binary and have since changed my name, which my adoptive parents have only recently accepted. She found the book in a box with a bunch of other baby stuff that was labeled with my chosen name, meaning that she's known where it was and didn't plan on sharing it with me. She finally ended up saying that the reason she didn't give me the stuff and say who it was from was because of my brother. He was adopted from a different family, and his mother made it clear that she wanted nothing to do with him, which our adoptive parents told us both about early on. Why? I'm very, very for like people, parents communicating that their children were adopted from early age. Do we need to tell them like specifically when they're kids that their parents didn't want them?
Probably not. It feels like it's very like it feels like they're just trying to be like, yeah, we're the best or the worst.
Yeah, it does feel like
us.
It feels like the Mother Gothel kind of approach of like, if you go out there, people are gonna hate you, they're gonna attack you,
and you have to brush your hair, you have to stay home and brush your hair.
It feels like don't reach out to them because they hate you, they don't want you.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna, I guess, trust those people.
Yeah.
So
apparently he'd constantly scope at the house looking for things from his bio family, which I don't really believe, which is why they hid my stuff. She also claimed that because I never asked about my bio family, she assumed I didn't care about it and wouldn't have wanted to know. However, I would have loved to know more about my bio family, but I felt that asking would be a slap to the face for them, so I never did. Considering my mom's reactions to me questioning her lies, I'd say that was a fair assumption. She kept insisting that she'd never intentionally lie to me or hide things from me, even though that's exactly what she did for years.
Wait, yeah, what?
I'm sorry, she wouldn't intentionally lie to you. She literally lied to you like so many times in the course of one conversation when you asked about the heirlooms.
She came out and admitted that she lied to you intentionally.
She told you why she lied to you, but she did lie to you.
Yeah. What?
That doesn't make any sense. But we would never lie to you about listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a Poke Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story.
Chapow.
Do you have any thoughts?
Don't lie to your kids. They're smarter than you think, except about, the accepted things.
Yes. There is still a lot of new information. I'm learning more and more things that they've been lying to me about, but that's another story. I am frustrated and beginning to accept that my parents hid the items from me to make it seem as though my own adoptive mother didn't want me. Yeah, they did that for both your brother and you.
They did that.
After all, my brother's parents didn't want him, so I couldn't have been wanted either. I think they're lying. In order to keep me from asking questions about my bio family, they had to pretend that they didn't exist in the first place. I don't know where to go from here. There are still things from my past that are missing, such as a jewelry set that my bio mom had gifted me to match her own set, as well as other pieces of information that I know they kept secret from me. I'm just so tired. Any advice would be extremely helpful. I think they need to continue with the DNA test. Get that. Go with your brother. Get that all sorted. And then you could probably reach out to your bio parent, and then go confront your parents and say like, hey, I know that you've kept some information from me. I would like that information back, please. Mm-hmm. Or I would like those heirlooms back. Like and also what you could do is talk to your brother separately, because I feel like they've kind of been lying to him and pitting you guys against each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you go to your brother and kind of tell him what the situation is, and then go to your parents and say, yeah, he's fine with this. Can I please have my heirlooms?
Yeah, like especially the stuff like the scrapbook. That's not something you should be keeping from
anybody.
No.
Absolutely not.
Adopt your adoptive parents and then hide their parents' information from them. Have them
Exactly.
eternal sunshine so they forget all of their necessary medical information, and then hide it from them and see how they like it.
See how they like it.
Yes.
But folks, that's the end of that story. So we're going to get into the next one.
Indeed.
I think my boyfriend is secretly in love with his friend.
What? The drama? No!
My boyfriend Jason, 38 male, has a lot of female friends. I let him hang out with them because I know I can't always be there for him to hang out with. So I'm normally busy with work and he's currently not working, so he has a lot of free time. By the way, this comes from my Grace A. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, so we're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, last night, my boyfriend hung out with his female friend, Julia, 37 female. They've been friends for more than 8 years, and they haven't seen each other for 2 years since she moved out of town. They were drinking and playing games in the living room while I went to the bedroom to sleep. They stayed up drinking and gaming until 4:30 a.m. Oh, that's late. When Julia was about to go home, my boyfriend told me he would walk her out of the apartment building. I got a little worried because it took him more than an hour to come back. I asked him what took him so long. He said he still felt energetic, so he walked around the apartment building for a while and then went to his best friend's apartment. His best friend Karen, 38 female, lives just a 15-minute walk from our apartment. When we were looking for an apartment to live in 2 months ago, he preferred this area because it's near his best friend's home. They've been best friends for more than 10 years and lived together for 2 years as roommates, not as lovers. As far as you know.
Okay.
He still has a key to her apartment, and he always goes there 2 to 3 times a week to hang out with her and play games. He stays there until 1 a.m. and sometimes stays the night when he gets wasted and can't walk home. Sometimes Karen comes to our apartment to hang out with Jason, while I normally just stay in the bedroom to watch a show or finish my work. Jason said Karen isn't comfortable hanging out with me yet because I'm, quote, the new girlfriend, and it takes her a while to get comfortable with people.
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm
What?
just not comfortable with new people, so.
Yeah, you're the new girlfriend because you're a new person in my best friend's life. I don't want to meet you yet. That's crazy. I just let it go because I'm not comfortable with her either. All right.
Oh, good. At least it's mutual.
Right. I would rather stay in the bedroom instead of hanging out with her. So at 4:30 a.m., he went to her apartment. He said he called her 3 times, but she didn't answer because obviously she was sleeping. What he did next was use his key to enter her apartment. He said his plan was to just chill in her living room until she woke up, and then they would play games and hang out. Karen got upset and kicked him out of her apartment. Yeah. I told him it was creepy to do that because what if Karen had a guy over and he just showed up unannounced? He didn't say anything, but I felt like he didn't like the sound of Karen having a guy over. Uh-oh. That's why I'm thinking now that Jason might be secretly in love with her. We've only been together for 8 months and living together for 2 months. I asked him before if he likes his best friend, and he said no. He only likes her as a friend, but now I'm not really sure. Any advice, please? And there are some comments, but what advice do you have for OP?
Honestly, I feel like I've been in this situation before.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like this guy that like pursued me
Uh-huh.
and then like had like a best friend that he would always hang out with. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I asked him, I'm like, were you ever a thing? He's like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, there's
Sure.
absolutely no way. To this day, I really don't know. And I also don't care.
Sure.
But like,
It's still like, because you can have like good friends of the opposite gender, you know, like
oh,
that's
for sure.
totally fine. But yeah, when it comes to that, and then also not seeming very happy of like her being with another guy, it's like, sure, maybe you misread. Maybe he didn't seem unhappy or whatever, but I'm going to trust you, OP, in that he did. And I feel like maybe if he just likes her as friends, maybe he likes her as friends with benefits. You know, I think
Ooh.
if it's not love, it's something.
Yeah.
Something else.
That's true. I feel like there may be something here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
We do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, yeah, you guys need to break up. Seems like, based solely off of what you say in the post, you guys are on 2 totally different wavelengths. He is in party mode and you're on more of an adult trajectory, and you don't hang out with him and his female friends, so it's likely that he's at least crushing on the women he has a bond with. Let him go be a guy who doesn't have a job and parties and plays games until 4:30 in the morning with all his girlfriends, and you go be an employed adult. OP says, I hang out with some of his female friends, but not until morning since I need to work the next day. I only hang out with them until like 11 or 12. And yes, I've been supporting him for 2 months since he's out of a job. Oh, 2 months, which is the same amount of time that they've been living together too.
And he's going over other girls' apartments just because like he doesn't have to work. Like, oh no, that would make me really angry.
So mad, dude.
I'd be like, oh, you're not gonna go just get a job? You're just gonna sit and play around with other girls? Red flag all the way.
For sure. We only lived together because his roommate punted him out and he had nowhere to go. I actually regret that I let him pressure me into living with him. Yeah, you should. I love living on my own, but now he's always here playing video games, and sometimes I cannot concentrate on my work. I cannot break up with him either. I cannot punt him out. He has nowhere to go. And I cannot leave because I'm the one who's paying the apartment. It's on my name, and we have a contract for a year. Someone else responds, you can absolutely break up with him and punt him out. He can go live with those other friends of his since they're so important. Please stop subsidizing his hobosexual life. He's just using you at this point.
I mean, I kind of have to agree.
Totally.
Like, I think, yeah, he's absolutely using you, OP.
Yeah.
And he's just like trying to get everything that he can. But then it's one thing to be grubby, but it's another thing to be going around with other people and also being grubby.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Right. Comment number 2. I don't know if he is in love with Karen and or if she is in love with your boyfriend, but the whole situation sounds off to me. Their lives are way too intricate. They seem possessive of each other and it's unhealthy. Karen always hating her best friend's girlfriends is odd. You feeling the need to isolate yourself when she comes home for hours and your boyfriend doesn't care. Your boyfriend excusing her behavior instead of establishing boundaries. Your boyfriend barging in her home at any hour without any respect for her privacy. Her not establishing any boundaries either. It's okay to let your friends have an extra key instead. But that doesn't give them the right to come in whenever they want. I wouldn't call it what they have them being in love, but really the word that comes to mind is possession. They see each other as a possession. That's my feeling. Anyway, your life, your choice, but I wouldn't let anyone treat me like he is, that's for sure. So not the a-hole. OP says, oh God, thank you. So it's not only me. I am not going crazy and being insecure. I also noticed their possessiveness with each other, but I thought that I was just being crazy and insecure, and I always brush the feelings off. Commenter number 3 says, he's 38 and wandering into friends' houses at 4:30 a.m. to game? This man is not an adult. His feelings about his friends are not even your biggest issue. And we do have an update, but that's very true.
Yeah, I feel like their relationship is, I think, pushing the boundaries of overstepping into your relationship, which is not okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you for all your replies. I find it funny that some of you think that I made up this story. It means my situation is really pathetic. To those asking my age, I'm 31. I'm new to this country and don't have any family members here. I have 2 friends, but they are 2 hours away and have their own work and problems, so I can't always bug them. I will talk to Jason maybe later or tomorrow. I definitely need to talk to him and set serious boundaries. To those telling me to break up with him, no, not yet. I will still give him a chance, 2 months for him to find a job, and then if he's still going to be a freeloader, I will punt him out. 2 months to find a job is very generous.
Yeah, because he's already been 2 months unemployed.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Another 2 months. I mean, I know how hard it is to actually find a job and everything,
Sure.
but he's also not doing anything to
seems
find
like
a job.
Exactly. I need to talk to him about his drinking habits as well. Actually, he's gotten better than before after I told him I'd break up with him if he acts like an a-hole to me again when wasted. I don't believe he's having a spicy related affair with his female friends, or maybe I'm just too trusting and gullible and in denial. I talked to him before and told him that when he cheats, I will break up with him. No questions asked, no explanation needed. He swore that he's never cheated in his life, and I believe him. We do have a second update. Last Friday, when I said I was going to talk to Jason, I didn't actually get a chance because he went to Karen's place again to play video games. He stayed there until 3 a.m. He said he didn't notice the time because they were building a base in their game. I kicked him out of the bedroom and made him sleep on the couch. Yesterday, Saturday, I was still, so I told him that I needed to go outside and walk my frustration out before talking to him. I went out, but he followed me without speaking. After an hour of walking, I went back home because it was freezing outside. We talked, and I told him about my feelings about him going out and staying late at Karen's place. He apologized. He said I thought I enjoyed being alone sometimes, so he stays at Karen's place to give me time for myself. Oh, you're so kind and generous.
Oh, nice.
Just
Give him a
taking care
chance.
of me. About the drinking, he knows he has a problem and is trying to change. He promised to drink moderately and only at social functions or when friends are over. About the job, he said he already applied for a government job, but the process is taking longer than usual. He also said I should voice my problems sooner about him staying late at Karen's place. He defended his actions about going there at 4:30 a.m. because he said it's his friend's house and his main objective was to get the adult soda from her fridge that he forgot last time. I know what you're thinking. The story changes. Yes, I told him that too, but he said when Karen punted him out, he just grabbed the adult soda and left. By the way, you can grab your favorite beverage and listen to full episodes with more stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime, and there is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, I do not believe a word he says.
Yeah, no, I think that he's a complete liar, and also the changing of the story really tells you, like, he obviously didn't know, and
yeah, dude, every time someone has plot holes, you need to pay attention to them. They're not just being stupid. They didn't just forget what they said before. They are changing things because their lie is a lie. So.
You know what I hate when they're like, "Oh no, that's what I meant."
Yeah,
no!
Right. No, I actually, this is what I said last time, but this is what really happened. This is like the newer version. Like,
yeah. Well, I just didn't go into so much detail last time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh,
come on, dude. But there is a little bit more to the story.
Update me.
He said Karen forgave him and they're okay. I talked to him about boundaries since we're living together now, and he said he'll make sure to go home before midnight whenever he's at Karen's place. I know some of you think I'm an idiot, but not really. One thing I realized is that I will never marry this guy. Once he gets the job, I will punt him out of here. I don't want to be the bad guy who made her boyfriend leave when I know he has nowhere to go. I know he can go to Karen's place and crash there, but I still don't want to have the guilt in my heart and be the one to blame. And that's the end of that story. Well, you're very nice, OP. But,
he's gonna blame you anyway.
Yeah.
I would have punted him out.
Yeah.
Earlier than giving him 2 months and letting him get on his feet and whatever.
Yeah.
If he's gonna make you suffer, then you're gonna make him suffer.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye.
I exposed my ex-husband's lies to our son.
That might be a little messy.
Trigger warning, verbal abuse, and mentions of violence. When our son was around 8 years old, my husband started acting different, more secretive and accusing. Me talking with a guy friend or being friendly to the barista equaled straying eyes. I found out a couple of months later he was having an affair with his coworker.
The classic projector's move.
And by the way, this comes from Action 3477, and if you want to submit your own stories, submit them. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. But OP says, I immediately filed for divorce and left him, and we had joint custody of our son. Of course, I constantly reassured him that the divorce wasn't his fault. I didn't want him to hate his dad because of his love for me. So I just lied about the reason and said that adults grow apart sometimes and that's just how it is. But for some reason, he was never convinced.
Well, I mean, how old was the child.
At the time,
do we-
8.
Yeah, that's not really the right age to tell your kid, hey, your dad cheated on me.
Yeah,
Let's learn about the wonderful world of infidelity at 8.
it's tricky. Well, I now know the reason. Years have passed. I just found out that my son thinks the divorce was my fault.
No!
Like every time his mom is like, don't worry, sweetie, it's not your fault. And he's like, I know, it's yours.
Oh, no.
That's tough. I was livid when he mentioned it to me, not mad at him, of course. He told me that ever since I started dating my new boyfriend, his dad revealed the truth of the divorce, which is that I got paranoid, disrupted his work life, became distant, and best of all, I cheated on him.
Ah, the classic switcheroo.
Ooh,
Oh
yeah.
boy, buddy, you're
Mm-mm.
gonna get exposed.
I can tell you right now, I did not. I confronted that piece of crap and he got flustered, started screaming, cussing out his own son in the process.
Hey, he gets the medal for worst dad award.
You suck, dude. He told me that it's all because I didn't forgive him and that I'm rubbing my new boyfriend in his face.
Gotta love that just existing and moving on is then rubbing it in your face.
I cheated on you and you moved on and that's not fair. I'm literally not. I don't want the two of them mingling. So of course I came back home and told my son the whole truth. He's refusing to talk to his father now and doesn't want to go over to his house. I'm being cussed out by his side of the family for ripping a father away from his son. Not what she did.
Classic. That's a classic shoot the messenger type situation.
But I couldn't care less. Any advice? And there are some comments, but you're very much not the a-hole. Your ex lied to your son.
Yeah.
Said that you cheated, and then when you clarified, because you weren't even gonna tell him all of the gory details.
Right.
Your ex-husband did that, and so you just stepped in and clarified. He was already setting the precedent.
And I assume he's still around that age? Like, I don't know how much
I
time has
can't
gone
imagine
by.
it's been that long.
The advice I would give is straight up just like, because it is still his dad.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's emotional right now because he was lied to, and it's because his dad did a bad thing. But I guess I would, just try to be like, however you feel about this situation, just reassuring your child, however you feel is okay.
Yeah.
Don't let the hate consume you, young Anakin Skywalker.
Absolutely.
Because he is still your dad, and people are still human, and it's like,
However,
if-
dad did cuss out child.
that, okay,
So clearly, like, it's
That
not just
is a great point.
that he's a bad person / bad partner. He's also seemingly maybe not the best dad either. But yeah, I think don't encourage that.
Don't turn him into Darth Vader is my only point.
Comment 1, classic FAFO. He became exposed as the bad guy while trying to frame you. I'm glad your kid is smart enough to know who the liar is and who the victim is. Reply, the fact that he even asked shows his character. He may have had feelings about it in the moment, but he asked for clarification to make a proper judgment. OP did not fail her son. Reply says, OP's son will remember that character throughout his life. My father didn't often talk poorly about my mom, but enough that I remember it and didn't like it. My mom, to the day, I am 41, has only slipped up 2 times and called him a name because I called her crying about how he is after I was an adult. She would say, I'm sorry for that, and continue to listen. She has character that I am so glad I learned from her. I have no doubt OP's son has learned character from OP already and doesn't know it yet. Reply, most kids usually figure it out. Like the old saying goes, you can't fool animals or kids. Second comment, I find it hilarious that the family was okay with him ripping your son away from you by lying and telling him you were the one that cheated, but are pissed that you told the truth and now your kid doesn't want anything with his dad, and rightfully so. I guarantee if your ex had been honest, your kid would have been mad but eventually come around. But since he lied to him and blamed you, I don't know if he's ever going to want to come around, and that's all your ex's fault.
True.
Boo-hoo for his side of the family being stupid collateral damage that encouraged the lie. Reply says, depends on if his family know the whole truth or not. Every chance he also lied to them too. And there is an update, but I think those are great points.
Yeah.
Maybe go and clarify with the family if you want to. You don't have to. You don't owe them anything.
And we've got a comment. I was a child in a bad divorce, and they need therapy. My dad refused therapy, so I went low contact in my teens. I do think some level of family therapy could be good.
Absolutely.
Just because, I don't know, there's all kinds of information. It's like when you have like a bad relationship or a missing relationship with a parent in your upbringing, like it can create all kinds of problems like that. I don't know. I'm not I think dad's clearly a bad dude. like the way he's behaving, but
Bad dude.
only for the sake of the child.
Update. My son has gone fully no contact with his bio dad. As for his emotional state, the shock has subsided a bit and has been replaced with anger. When he made his decision final, I got an awful message from my ex-mother-in-law. My ex-sister-in-law started pestering my own parents, and my ex-husband showed up at my door angry and wasted. I've kept records of everything that they've done until now. I called the police and had my ex escorted off the property when he refused to leave and started to get violent with my boyfriend. I thought about hiding all of this from my son because he's had enough of a shock, but I figured that lying to him in the first place is what got us into this mess, so he knows everything. The good news is that they've stopped pestering me for the time being. I guess the police escorting my ex away from my house was a wake-up call for them. They contacted me once to ask me not to press charges and haven't contacted me since.
Wow.
And there is a second update. Clearly, they learned some sort of lesson. They were like, oh, it's so much more serious and he's going to get in a lot of trouble. And maybe us too if we continue pestering OP.
This is a bad dad scenario.
Bad dad. I mean, clearly it really doesn't seem like beyond telling your child the truth that you have pushed him in any sort of way to make any sort of decision. It's just that he found out that his dad lied and has made the decision to not have any contact with his dad. So, and maybe he changes his mind later, maybe dad steps up at some point. But for now, that seems like it's, the kid's decision.
Yeah. And
you gotta respect that.
It is his decision.
Yeah.
He's made it based on how his dad communicated with him and lied to him.
But there is a second update, back to the point. As it says in the title, I've consulted a lawyer who happens to be my boyfriend's sister. I'll start off by saying that the comments under my OG post were right. I remember a few people pointing out that maybe my ex-mother-in-law and ex-sister-in-law don't know the whole story. Yes, a lot of people were saying that, since my ex-husband isn't to be trusted. That made me realize how it's an actual possibility, and I ended up contacting them. Here's what they thought happened. Years ago, I cheated on my ex with my neighbor, went on substances, became paranoid, and took away his privacy. Current time, I'm jealous of the promotion my ex got, want to ruin his relationship with our son, so I feed him lies and cause a rift. Cherry on top, my boyfriend is a substance user and an ex-criminal who's a bad influence on my son. So he's just making up a whole freaking 2-hour movie plot.
He's writing an entire fictionalized novel.
This is Pulp Fiction. They're now going against their own son and have agreed to give testimonies if needed. Whoa, switch up.
Uh-oh.
You got them on your side. You just needed to spread the gospel around. Get that truth. I've been keeping a record of all texts, mails, and calls every single time he threatened me. The witness statements of my neighbors have been collected from when he came to our house wasted and angry. I have recordings of his behavior as well. A police report has been filed for harmful acts, trespassing, and property damage. I'm also requesting a restraining order as well as sole custody, which is super fair because your son doesn't want to see him anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get him out of your life altogether. I brought up criminal intimidation, harmful acts, and battery, as well as compensation regarding medical and emotional damage. Yesterday, he tried approaching my son after school ended. Yikes. Luckily, my boyfriend was already there to pick him up, so he interjected. Everything escalated when my ex started making threats against my boyfriend very loudly. He even cussed at his own son because he wasn't going to his dad and siding with the traitor. Not sure how my boyfriend is a traitor, but whatever.
Great move, Dad. Oh, your son's not on your side? Why don't you curse him out and call him a traitor?
Humiliate him in front of his school. That is really going to make him like you. He was threatened by security and finally left my family alone. Last night, he called me full on crying and sobbing, begging me to let him see his son and that he's so incredibly sorry. I felt guilty inside, but I held out, and I'm glad I did, because his sobs turned into loud screams and threats. And there's a little bit left to this story, but do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the only thing you need to do is worry about keeping your kids safe.
Yeah.
It seems like your ex-husband is like in an acute state of like emotional and mental distress or impairment.
Yeah.
The way that he is conducting himself, it's not a big leap that he could, do something crazy.
I mean, it seems like he already kind of is. Goes to, the school to shout at OP's son and her boyfriend. has showed up at her house to the point where they've called the police, restraining order. Like, clearly this is not a stable person that you would want around your son anyway.
Yeah.
So I think keep doing what you're doing. Keep your son safe.
I think, well, I don't know if it's, I mean, I'm sure you could talk to like a lawyer or whoever you're consulting with.
Yeah.
But I think maybe, putting it out there that like, hey, if this continues, like we're going to move.
Yeah.
Like we're leaving town. We're going to be as far away from you as possible.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
I feel heartbroken that all of this is happening. He may not have been the best dad, but he still was there for our son and acted like the father figure I wanted him to. Now it's all gone to crap. My son is so incredibly shaken up. I'm spending a lot of time with him, letting him cry and talk to me about whatever he wants. I'm thinking of putting him in therapy like I am.
Oh, he should.
Absolutely.
100,000 million.
He should have already been in therapy, but
Yeah.
let's get him into therapy ASAP.
Yesterday.
He's gotten a lot closer to my boyfriend over this course of time as well. Everything just feels so exhausting right now, but I know that when it's over, I can hope to have some semblance of peace. And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, eventually kids grow up to realize who the problem parent was. Keep protecting your son and your family. Keep doing what you're doing. You're in the right path. Reply, even when it turns out that both parents were the problem, yet tried to blame each other, kids figure it out eventually because the toxic parent brings that toxicity into their parent-child relationship. They can't help it. Comment 2 says, how old is your son now? He definitely needs to know how dangerous his dad is, but depending on age, there are details that he may be better off not knowing right now. But yeah, definitely get him into therapy. OP says he's currently 17.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Big time therapy. He probably should have been in therapy since
Since
initial divorce.
Yeah, wow.
And all of that going down as soon as he was lied to and then had to pick side and then all that came to light, therapy should have been on the table.
It's kind of crazy that all of the parents were, even though they were lied to, that they were all jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, you convince your son to hate his dad. Like, he's 17. He clearly can make his own decisions.
Well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of time went on in the story, so who knows how
Yeah.
old he was when that started. Probably wasn't 17 when it started.
I think he was 17 when they just found out that the dad lied.
Well,
Or maybe 16, maybe not.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But bottom line is like,
Yeah.
if you're the grandparents or your son comes to you and is telling you all this stuff, it's like
Yeah.
well, you're gonna take your son's side, especially if it sounds like that.
Yeah.
But at least they were
Receptive.
enough to hear the truth from his ex-wife OP
Yeah.
and be like, oh yeah, that's extreme. We're sorry, we were wrong.
Are bad. Bri says, check with your lawyer about getting an RO, restraining order against X for your son. One that's either permanent or can be easily extended. Do it before he turns 18. Comment 3 says, how were your ex-mother-in-law and sister-in-law so quick to trust you over him? OP says, people don't like being told they're wrong, especially in matters regarding their family. But lucky for me, I have receipts. My story has remained unchanging, while my ex kept spinning his side further and further in an effort to defend himself in front of his family.
He just kept adding more and more ridiculous information.
He is like, and then she cheated with the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, what? Which one?
All of them. The homeowners association, the country, the other countries,
And the prime minister too.
yeah.
I know. It's how did she do it? It's crazy. If you remember, I've been recording every single call he's made to me and keeping track of everything he said. I only mentioned the threats, but he eventually just threw away his facade over a call. He ended up exposing himself while telling me that I'm a monster for making such a big deal over such a small lie. Oh, buddy.
What?
Oh, buddy.
Come on, my guy. No, you're not my guy.
You're not my guy.
You are my not my
Enemy.
guy.
That was enough proof for them. I'm not a huge fan of my in-laws. Fair enough. I fully admit, but I'm glad the harassment has lessened because they withdrew. Additionally, my son told them in detail about how his dad painted me in a bad light first, while they were told by my ex that I was the one who started it all. And that's the end of that story. Dang. Well, it seems like we've done everything that we can. We got son on your side. He knows the truth. We got ex's family on your side. Now we have restraining order on ex. We're hopefully going to get your son into therapy. So it seems like everything is on the right track.
That is an absolute must. We must get the child
should have
into
been
therapy.
way earlier, but never too late. Never too late for therapy.
And I think we're gonna have a call in now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a
Ooh,
nice
TikTok
little
caller.
to have some perspective on this story.
Yes.
Tamara, are you there?
Oh,
Tamara,
Oh,
are you there?
Tamara.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
I know you said, I don't know, it's up, if you're okay with it. I know you said you have a whole story, kind of similar to this experience. If you want to share your spiel or, what you would do in
Yeah,
that
I
story
don't.
or you're related to that story, let us know.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly how the story started because I jumped in midway. But my ex-husband divorced me. Was a whole story, but he turns into a stalker.
Oh no.
Oh.
He came to my house. He banged on the windows and the doors. He yelled at me, at our kid as well. Getting the kid into therapy is really, really important.
Well, I'm sorry that happened. That's
Yeah, that's very scary. Yeah.
It was.
Was there any intervention from police or a restraining order or stuff that was filed and what?
Yeah. I had to call Child Protective Services. I had to call the police. I had to get a lawyer. I had to get cameras for my house.
Oh yeah, that's always a good move.
Yeah. Smart.
And then I had to document everything, which actually was the most stressful because dealing with all that and then spending your evenings when you fell asleep documenting everything and then leaving everything, that is really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But, I thought when I get through that, then I can have some peace,
Yeah, just looking out for the light at the end of that tunnel. Yeah, gotta hold out.
Hold
out for hope. Hope is always so important.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
thank you for sharing.
sharing that, and we wish you,
The police did bring it up to the judge, and I got the restraining order, and he was ordered not to do anything ever again, or he would be put in jail.
Good.
So yeah, I have my peace now.
That's good. I'm glad that you have it now.
good.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate
And
it.
where are you from?
Yeah.
I'm from the Netherlands.
But again, thank you so much for sharing your story and your experience, and
You're welcome.
wish you the best. We
Yes.
wish you the
Yeah,
best.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
We'll start up another story in just a second.
My child's school lied about calling CPS on me just because I missed their calls.
I hate that.
I hate that. Our daughter, 7, started school last month. I told the front office under no circumstances should they call me if something happens to her, especially Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. That's crazy. I don't care if she's
truly under no circumstances.
That's
is what is so
insane.
funny to me.
I work and I am not allowed to have my phone on my person while working. They were told explicitly to call her father, who works overnight but is home all day as a result. That makes more sense.
Okay.
By the way, this comes from Let's Roll 4824, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I got to my lunch break today, and what do I find but 16 missed calls from the school. I assumed she had been hospitalized or there was an active shooter, something horrible that warranted 16 calls to the parent they were told not to call. I called the school frantically before even looking at my voicemail and found that they called me because she threw up. Threw up? Blood? Nope. Just regular throw up. But because I did not answer, this woman considered it abandonment and made a call to CPS. I asked if they had called my husband. Nope. Just me, and I did not answer, which is not allowed. I called him, and he went to pick her up. There was a woman sitting with her in the nurse's office who was also there during orientation night, but she was not our kids' teacher or administration's, so we did not get introduced to her. As soon as my husband got there, she scurried off. And when he asked the woman at the front desk who she was, she reiterated that she had called someone about your wife abandoning your daughter. And she told them if it happened again, it would be a lot more serious, and we should consider making sure mom is always there when her kid needs her. Which again,
feels super gender rolesy. It's like, oh, dad, we're not going to call dad. Gotta be mom.
It's also still like to be like, I called someone about your wife.
Yeah.
You should really figure something out with her.
With your wife.
That's so weird.
Way off. Way off.
You know what he should do?
What?
You know what actually OP should do?
Yeah.
Here's my advice.
Yeah.
Go to the office, throw up.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? There's no way that a CPS agent is just hanging around this school at all times and did not bother to stick around to lecture a parent who abandoned their kid when they showed up. I think they lied because they do not like that dad is supposed to be their primary point of contact. I think so. I'm going to follow up with the principal when I have calmed down, of course, but what the actual F? And some of OP's comments. Commenter says, is it documented that you are unavailable for those 3 days, or is dad listed as the primary contact? OP says both. It was all written down explicitly when we were filling everything out. He's the primary and I'm secondary with special instruction. Her grandmother is the emergency contact and also wasn't called.
Yeah, get Mima in here.
Truly, like, as I've worked with kids at like a summer camp, and the amount of times that I've had to wait at like the after school care for all the kids to get picked up, and you're waiting there for like an hour and you're calling, no one's picking up. That's like classic childcare. There's some kids, it takes a while for them to get picked up. You're not calling CPS, unless it's like everyone needs to leave and you're like, we actually gotta go.
Sophia at summer camp just rolling, like, calls once, picked up. Well, all right, there's another one to.
Gotta send that kid to CPS. Bye. I would also exhaust all of the people on the list before I make 16 calls to one person. Crazy. Top commenter says, make sure it's well documented. They need to follow the communication orders you give them. They don't get to decide that the mother must answer. I threaten a lawsuit if they continue this behavior and make false CPS reports. OP says it's all in writing and has been since we first started filling out the paperwork. If you mean the woman claiming she called CPS, unfortunately, I only had that conversation over the phone call and not a text message. Commenter says, CPS will provide you with a letter to document the investigation and then another letter to confirm that it was founded or if no evidence was found. You can call CPS and ask them to confirm if you're being investigated. If the school didn't exhaust all means of contact, CPS is way too overburdened to send someone to investigate this. Sounds like BS to scare you. OP says, I'm almost positive it is. There's no way an actual CPS person wouldn't have at least spoken to my husband when he showed up, whether they really believed this was abandonment or not. Commenter says, I'm willing to bet it was a school counselor or social worker. If they did complain, CPS has 72 hours to follow up if substantiated. OP says that would make more sense. They definitely work there and aren't a direct teacher, and the counselors are split up based on student last names. So we met hers, but I know there's at least 5. And to an idiot commenter saying OP should have had her phone regardless of the rules, I'm including one comment from OP because I liked it. OP says, no, it's not allowed on my person, period. Nothing what the battery is that isn't distributed by the company itself, and our assigned pagers do not allow outside calls. I feel like OP's like some sort of healthcare.
Oh,
what were you going to say?
That makes so much more sense because I was about to be here like, wow, like what? This woman, she's in the
She's
CIA.
CIA.
She's out on the field.
Yeah.
She is 5 years undercover.
Yeah, she actually works for CPS.
She's a CPS agent.
Yeah,
She's
she
like,
takes
they
the
just
call. She's like, she keeps hanging up.
doesn't answer their phone call, but does answer the call to CPS. Hello?
She's like, hello, my child threw up. I'll call.
Yeah.
I have to report this to myself.
Looking in the mirror, I have to.
I have to. You can look at your phone on your breaks. LOL, what do you think people did before cell phones? Do you think kids were just keeling over in the nurse's office because the home phone wasn't picked up and the office was too stupid to try anything else? Later in the comment thread to no job is too important not to let you have your phone for your kid, when the battery and the phone signal could disrupt the equipment or cause excess static and cost tens of thousands of dollars in damages, it is. I feel like if you're like a pilot, probably
Maybe
shouldn't
she
have
is.
your phone. Maybe like if you're a bus driver,
Yeah.
probably shouldn't be looking at your phone. I feel like there are a lot of jobs where you shouldn't
Yeah.
be looking at your phone.
Yeah. And this woman, as we discussed, could be anything from a nurse
Anything.
to a pilot to
Yeah.
a CIA agent,
To a
maybe
bus
all
driver.
of them.
Maybe
To a bus
all.
driver. Yeah, on the
We don't
weekends.
know, yeah.
Volunteer.
It's just anything that involves the kids.
Yeah.
Especially when that person has other family members who should be called first. And there is an update a week later. But what do you think OP should do about these crazy teachers?
Like, I know somebody in the comments was like, oh, you can threaten a lawsuit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this is always, keep it in your back pocket. I feel like there's nothing to do other than just like go in. She said she's going to talk to the principal,
Yeah, I
which
think
feels
princip-
good to
yeah.
be like, hey, this is what happened. This is what needs to
I
not
will
happen
not
again.
stand for it.
Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I think that you could totally go to the principal and be like, these are the complaints I have. If this continues, I will follow up with further action. I have the CIA on my side.
Yeah. Don't pull up the badge.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Do the thing that they do in like TV shows where they just go CIA.
Yeah, flash it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fast. Oops, sorry, that was my bus driver badge. Actually. Let me.
Ooh,
Sorry,
1 second.
here's my health. Oh, that's my nurse.
Ooh, here we go. This update. To answer the most common questions, the school had documentation to call my husband or his mother ever since we enrolled there. I double-checked our computer portal with the school website, and it's still listed that way, including that I can't be contacted for anything that might be time sensitive. I cannot have my phone on my person while I'm working, period. My workplace has an automatic answering machine for public calls, so even if the school did call them, I wouldn't get the message for probably another half hour at absolute best. Even then, I work about 30 to 40 minutes away if traffic is good. Yes, I am in a more traditional area, although it's never been too huge of a deal before besides having to commute to the city for work. This is not going to be the super dramatic update I'm sure a lot of people were hoping for. Sorry. First off, I did not jump straight to getting an attorney to threaten them. I did call and ask a local family law firm, and the person I spoke to told me if we did have to go as far as suing, it would look better to try to exhaust options on my own before threatening legal action. But they would be happy to look over any communications between us, and we could CC them on any emails and ask me to get any information on the potential neglect and abandonment case I could while they looked into it as well. I started by sending a follow-up email to the principal and CC'd the superintendent and law person on it, asking for confirmation that they had checked our file for who to call, more details on who exactly was spoken to at CPS, any case numbers, and the name of the person who was sitting alone with my sick daughter and did not speak to my husband or identify themselves. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the principal was out of town for several days with some family emergency.
Principal's also CIA.
Principal's like, I've got a urgent business to take care of.
And then turns out they're on the same mission. Boom, buddy cop scenario.
Oh, and they
And
have
we
to go
pitched
pick
that
up
to
the kid.
Hollywood.
Yeah. And the whole movie is, I gotta pick up my kid.
She's thrown up 16 times.
I gotta go. And every time a bad guy's like, oh, you'll never catch me, like knock him out. I gotta pick up my kid.
Exactly.
Yeah. After a day with no reply, the superintendent emailed me directly asking for more details, and I sent them an email outlining exactly what had happened from our perspective. Screenshots from my phone, my husband's phone, and his mother's phone, showing the phone calls and the lack of them. Monday, the principal finally got back to us, and we got some answers. Yay! The woman sitting with our daughter was one of the school counselors, just not the one assigned to her. No one actually contacted CPS. There is no case open against us. That was just a straight up lie. The woman who told me she had actually called the school's social worker, not CPS, who then sent the counselor to sit with her instead of, telling her that was ridiculous or going himself. The counselor claims she was under the impression that she was just keeping our daughter company until the parents arrived, since there was no nurse that day. But if that was the case, she should have at least said hello, right? By the way, you can say hello to us by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Lying about
Yeah.
calling CPS is crazy.
Wild.
That's wild.
Crazy.
You just can't be lying.
You can't be doing that.
That's how I feel sometimes with some of these stories where I just sit here and I joke, we just can't be doing this. We can't just be lying about things.
Yeah. No, I really feel like they better take some sort of action against, because to admit that you said I called CPS and also that was a lie, there's got to be some sort of punishment for this lady.
Yeah.
Gotta be something. It just ain't right.
Flash the badge.
Yeah.
Flash the FBI
You're
badge.
under arrest.
Yeah.
But OP continues, and I'm not sure if he was supposed to tell me this, But apparently, this is not the first time they've had issues with how she responds to fathers or male caregivers in general. Which I want to know, if that's the case, why didn't anyone do anything about it before? That's the real question. What the F? As of now, she's been suspended pending investigation. Yes! And OP's gonna head that investigation herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, these aren't all of the details, but this is the gist of it. I'm sure a lot of people were hoping to hear I'd sued the school for defamation, intimidation, threatening, whatever else, and gotten that stupid woman fired for being a misogynistic witch. But this is what we've got, lol. Some of OP's comments. Commenter says, it sounds like the woman's behavior will be doing all the work of getting her reprimanded and or fired. OP says, hopefully fired. Commenter says, I'm confused because in your first story, you said that the woman sitting with your daughter took off, but that it was the front desk person who lectured your husband about you abandoning your child. It sounds to me like both women need to have a level of discipline around the fact that fathers can be first-line caregivers. OP says, no. No. I said the woman sitting with her was the one we didn't recognize, who was not her teacher or administration, but who we'd seen at orientation. Not that she was the one who called us. But that's the end of that story.
I'm secretly in love with my best friend. Yesterday, he introduced me as his sister.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
I, 25 female, have known my best friend, 26 male, for 12 years. I've been secretly in love with him for about half of that time. Just a little backstory. We met in middle school when his family moved into the townhouse next to ours. At the time, I was in 7th grade and he was in 8th. We quickly became friends and spent a lot of time together, engaging in basic friendly interactions. By the way, this comes from TOA Love, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, our backyards were connected, so when our parents were asleep, he would sometimes slip out of his patio door and come over to my room, and we would just talk. Around my junior year, his senior year of high school, we were both going through bad breakups. One night, when he came over, he joked about how easy it would be for us to date. I agreed, but we laughed it off and didn't bring it up again. About 2 weeks later, it finally happened. We did everything but have spicy sleep that night.
Okie dokie.
Okay. The next day, we both moved on as if nothing happened. However, things slowly changed, and that is when I began developing feelings. After graduation, he moved away as fast as he could. Not far, just a couple of towns over. During the first couple of years, we barely saw each other, but still texted and occasionally talked on the phone. I assumed this was mostly because he had started dating someone at the time. Over the last 3 years, we've been closer than ever. We are both single. We talk on the phone every single day and have not missed a day, even if it's just a quick hello or a check-in. He knows I'm afraid of bugs and has come to my place to unalive big spiders for me a couple of those times between 1 to 3 a.m. We frequently buy each other gifts for holidays, birthdays, or just because. Every year he takes me out for Valentine's Day and my birthday to extravagant dinners and an activity he thinks I would enjoy. A few times he has sent flowers to my job just because, and even surprised me a couple of months ago by personally delivering flowers when I was having a bad day. I've taken him on vacation for his birthday, just the two of us. I've also surprised him at work with various gifts if he was having a bad day. We take care of each other when we're sick, including sleeping over at each other's houses and nursing each other back to health. He knows thunderstorms scare me and will often spend the night with me if it is really getting to me. Yes, sleeping in the same bed. He has on multiple occasions said something like, I wish I could date someone like you, or I wish I could find someone like me for you. I have replied, yeah, we would be perfect, but we always leave it there. This year, I moved closer to him, about a 3-minute drive. He also works in the area, and I work from home 3 days a week. We both work in office settings that allow us to talk on the phone all day while we are working. It is basically a part of our routine. He calls me on his way to work, and unless one of us has a meeting, We stay on the phone all day until he gets off. Wow. Our coworkers know about this. He has been out with my coworkers and me for drinks. While I have not met any of his coworkers, I have talked to a couple of them on the phone frequently, as sometimes when he's in the office, he'll have me on speaker. They know my name, but have never met me in person. I work mornings, and he starts in the afternoon, so when I am getting off work, he is usually going on his lunch. If I am working from home, he comes over on his lunch break, and I make him food. When I'm in the office, I pick up something for him and bring it to his office, or we go out to eat on his lunch. Yesterday, he was getting off work early, and I was picking him up to go to dinner and then to our town's carnival. He purposely walked to work that day because the carnival is near his office, and the parking lot is horrendous at this time. When I got there, he was still finishing up some work, and I had to use the bathroom badly. So I went in to use theirs. He got me and brought me back to his office. While we were walking out, we ran into a couple of his coworkers who asked if I was his girlfriend. I said no and thought we would leave it at that. He doubled down and said, "This is my little sister." I was floored. He has never referred to me as a sister, at least to my knowledge. I've never told him how I feel about him, but I've hinted at it a little. Our mutual friends have asked us why we aren't dating before, and he has said he doesn't want to lose me as a friend. Call me crazy, but if anything, my feelings have tripled for him over the last 3 years of him basically treating me like his girlfriend. Now I feel completely stupid, like I read into things too deeply.
Don't. You're reading into this too deeply. That's my assumption.
I'm like, why have you guys not, like, I hate to lose you as a friend. You guys are basically dating.
Yeah.
You guys you are constantly in communication. You hang out all the time. You basically go on dates.
You could probably clarify today and be like, hey, actually, I like you. And he'd be like, okay, you're not my sister anymore. You're my girlfriend.
And then the only issue is the awkward conversation the next time you meet the coworkers.
Yes, that's going to be weird.
This morning, he called me when he was leaving work. His office occasionally has to work Saturdays when they are busy. He told me his coworkers asked about me, saying they'd never seen him with a girl and could have sworn we were dating based on how we were looking at each other. They said they've never seen him look as happy as he did when we were together. He told me it's just great having someone in his life who completely understands him and allows him to be himself. I am so confused. I'm not going to tell him how I feel, but knowing he thinks of me as a sister has me very shocked, confused, and feeling like an idiot. Any advice, please?
Tell him how you feel.
Tell him. Don't do this not telling him. Tell him.
Tell him how you feel.
I think he feels the same way. I think the sister thing was a lie.
I agree.
Update 16 days later. Well, as a lot of the comments stated, he's not attracted to me.
Uh-oh.
The opportunity finally arose for me to bring it up casually. We were talking about relationships, and he was saying how he hasn't had much luck finding anyone. Things just haven't worked out for various reasons. Despite a lot of the comments, none of those reasons have been for how close we are. So, as he's telling me about the latest girl he's stopped talking to, she was hardly ever responding to texts and calls for anyone interested in the reason. I said, well, it sounds like you need to change up from what you usually go for. I basically told him he needs someone like me and our relationship. He agreed. He literally said word for word, yeah, you're right. If you were someone else, we would definitely be together. This was my first opportunity to bring it up, but I chickened out. Then we were both talking about how we haven't had spicy sleep in a while, as we've been single, and I said, yeah, we should help each other out. He kind of laughed awkwardly, and I should have took that as the sign, but I was in it now. I had the courage to finally ask, why have we never dated? He admitted that he used to have feelings for me in high school, but didn't think I would leave my ex. The ex he was referring to was the guy I was with before we had our one night that we don't talk about. I asked him why he thought that when I was literally with him afterwards, and then we never spoke of it. He said it just didn't seem like I was over him at the time. So naturally, I asked, what about after, when he realized I didn't want him back? He said he had already started thinking of me differently and now sees me as his sister. He says he couldn't go back on that now. It's too weird. It would really be like dating his sister. I didn't really push the conversation after this. I just let it end. I actually feel like he lied, which is a lot because I've never felt that way. I really think he was never attracted in the first place, and maybe that night was a rebound situation and he didn't want to hurt my feelings. We'll never hurt your feelings because you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and search up OK Storytime. You got a little bit more. I don't know. This is just like, you guys can't keep maintaining this like dating thing then. If like, I don't know how a relationship for either one of you with someone else would be sustained with this level of like almost dating your friend.
I feel like if you did start dating someone else, he'd immediately be like, wait, no,
I did
you're
like
not my
you."
sister.
Right. I could see that.
I think he's just convinced himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is just a lesson in that you should be clear about your feelings when you realize what they are
Yeah.
and not wait for 6 years.
You guys probably would have dated in high school. Either way, I know the truth now and I'm moving on. A lot of people said I was letting these feelings hold me back from relationships, and genuinely, I wasn't. I've dated and things have ended for various reasons, also none of those reasons being because of my relationship with him. I actually found out the reason none of his exes had an issue is because he's been telling them I'm his sister this whole time.
Oh.
So he's been lying.
He's just used it as a...
That's icky.
Oh.
No, I don't like that.
Oh.
So yeah, safe to say that's never happening. I still feel utterly stupid and delusional for ever thinking it was anything romantic, but lesson learned, I
No,
guess.
that's the wrong lesson. He lied to these girls about you being his sister so that he could still talk to you.
That's so icky. Especially because he just admitted he had feelings.
Yeah.
Ugh. This isn't going to end our friendship, but I will definitely be setting more boundaries, starting with no more sleepovers. And that's a start. I'll take that as a start. That's the end of that story.
I found my wife's secret account, and she's been obsessed with my ex.
Whoa, that's a turn of events.
So I, male 36, met my wife, Bailey, female 33, 9 years ago through mutual coworkers, and we hit it off immediately. I fell absolutely head over heels with this woman. She was everything I was looking for. By the way, this comes from user MolassesStock6055, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I am Matt.
And I am Savannah.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do in this certain situations. So let us know what you would do in the comments. I had gotten out of a toxic long-term relationship right before that with a woman Bailey and I had been acquainted with, or Bailey had been acquainted with, but not friends with. I had her blocked on everything and had no contact with her since breaking up. We got married right after the tail end of the pandemic, bought our first house together, and started trying to conceive. That was difficult because Bailey has PCOS.
Oh.
But last year, she finally gave birth to our first daughter. Oh, congratulations, OP. I am having a blast being a dad. It's kind of a dream come true. I finally got my happy life with my perfect wife. My perfect wife. Until last Monday. It's always Mondays, isn't it? My laptop's battery crapped the bed, so I took up Bailey's work tablet with an attached keyboard. You can set it up like a monitor to check on some tax stuff. She wasn't home. It was just me and the baby. But we've never asked permission to use each other's devices. We've always been open like that. There's nothing for us to hide. Famous last words, that's what I thought.
Aw.
When I opened the internet, I noticed she had the incognito tab open. Never in a million years did I expect to discover what I did. My wife had a secret Google account with a photo album she called XX. In this Google album were over 300 photos, 348 actually, it took the time to count, of my ex. The woman I was with right before I met Bailey. The woman who tormented me and made me feel worthless. The album said it was started back right around the time Bailey and I started dating and was updated as recently as 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
The photos range from candid shots with family to pictures at her work functions. There were even pictures from her yearbook. I don't know how Bailey could have found her high school yearbook photos, photos from vacations, ID photos from work, photos of her in crowds, screenshots of videos, and screen recordings of videos. Just her. The other people in the photos would be scribbled out, or the photo would be cropped and zoomed in on just my ex. I'm scared.
That's strange.
Are you?
That's very strange, and I would be like, "Are you all right?" That's
I'm scared.
like obsession.
I'm like actually scared.
Oh God, I want to know what's happening. What is going on?
Well, let's find out, shall we? There were other disturbing things I found too. There was another album with just zoomed up pictures of my ex's hair. Come to think of it, Bailey had recently started wearing her hair different, and my ex had a very identifiable hair type. There was another album with screenshots of comments on social media. Of course, I can't find them because I have her blocked, like Facebook groups she's in and public posts. And my ex is very low-key on social media. I can't imagine the lengths Bailey went to find them. My ex literally lives in another country now.
What?
There were also different links to the exact outfits she was wearing, like very specific blouses and trousers you'd have to really go looking for to find, a very specific water bottle I remember her purchasing, and identical hiking boots and sandals. So basically, my partner of almost a decade has been single white femaling my ex-girlfriend, has secretly stalked her to the point of buying her exact clothes and changing her hair. And now I'm starting to realize Bailey's new interests over the years were just my ex's. Bailey has turned herself into my ex.
Why? I don't. Why?
Terrifying.
Like, what is that doing for them?
It's maybe a jealousy thing because you were with them first. Everything feels like a lie. Our love feels like a lie. The things we share feel like a lie. I threw up and had a panic attack, as one should in this situation. I don't think anyone can fault you for that. I looked at our daughter and felt betrayed. I haven't confronted her yet. I don't know if I want to. I want to run away with our daughter. I want to print out all her pictures, leave them on the table, and disappear. I don't know what to do. I just want to throw up. Any advice? Advice. Talk to a lawyer now.
Yeah.
Talk to a bodyguard now.
That's like crazy. Like to spend almost 10 years of like, you started a life with this person and now all of a sudden you find this out. I'd be like, my life is over. Like, I hate that.
This is the point where you record if you're watching this, it means I'm dead. If you're watching this, it means she got to me. It's probably a lot of deep-seated insecurity or some other issue that she has, some maybe previous trauma, some insecurity, some desire to like be more than herself, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's something maybe that the husband mentioned about, the husband mentioned, OP mentioned about the ex-wife that kind of maybe got her thinking, maybe does he still think about her sometimes? There's something there. All right, we have an update. First, let me clear things up. No, I didn't actually throw up. I was in the middle of a panic attack. Private browsing. Tabs were open to the websites with clothing and objects. Another tab was signed into Google Photos. When I exited the Google Photo tab to look at the websites with clothing and came back, it was already signed out and I couldn't get back in. A lot of the clothing I recognized wasn't because I remembered my ex wearing them. They were more recent pictures of her in the file wearing them, and I remember the day Bailey bought the water bottle that also happened to be in the folder. The hair. Bailey and my ex are the same race, and my ex wore braids in a particular way. Not so particular that it's exclusive to my ex, because Bailey also had worn different braids, but seeing pictures of her made me put two and two together. Is there any way Bailey could have gotten with me in an attempt to get to my ex? Was Bailey possibly obsessed with my ex before she met me? Probably not, because Bailey grew up here and my ex originally moved here for university. And while you can drive across the border, it's not that easy, and I don't think Bailey was going back and forth to stalk her in person. Also, the reason why my ex and I broke up has nothing to do with Bailey and I, and she could not have had any involvement. On to the actual update. The next day, when I had calmed down, I called several social workers and therapists. I was planning to confront her there. Unfortunately, the only places that take our insurance did not have an opening for another couple weeks. So, despite what a lot of you think, I've known my wife for nearly a decade, and even while I was confused and upset and doubting things, I don't think she'd be a danger to me. We sure about that, OP? We sure about that, OP? We took baby to grandma's, and I asked her for her to go on a walk with me. Oh, God, this is not going to end well. I did not beat around the bush and straight up told her I found the folder. Her face got very red, and she was frozen, but also tried to play dumb at first. I was persistent, and she started crying and begged me not to leave her. This is what I uncovered.
Here we go, the reasoning.
Bailey first started looking up my ex out of curiosity. To keep tabs, I guess. But over time, it became more pathological. It's like she got addicted to it, but she also wanted to please me. Okay, maybe I talked about my ex a lot more than I thought, and Bailey wanted to emulate the good parts. She told me she really doesn't know who she is, and my ex's image was something she latched onto because she had me first. See, it was the previous woman thing, I guess, a little bit there. Finding information about her became a game. Finding the clothing and objects became a game by searching things like blue water bottle, green stripe, until she couple compared a product to a photo and found the exact one. You can do puzzles, you know. You can do healthier puzzles than that.
That's true. You can just watch like SVU. I feel like that, you know.
The reason why I couldn't find the post wasn't because I had blocked my ex, but because my ex had made a new Facebook under a different name. Bailey found her profile by searching up a family member. She made fake social media and added enough mutual friends until she could see my ex's posts, and until her private Instagram accepted her. She weaseled her way into her exercise Facebook group where the videos were posted, and searched her school on a yearbook website to find the yearbook pictures. Over time, she just collected the images and would get excited to find something new, despite the fact that my ex is extremely private on social media. The folder had originally been called Hex the X, in case I discovered it. She was going to make the excuse of saving the pictures to put a hex on her. When she made a burner Google account, she deleted the old folder and named the new one XX. Then she got sloppy and comfortable. And that's right around the time I just happened to open the work tablet. By the way, we won't consider it sloppy and unprofessional if you don't catch up right away, because you can always listen to full episodes just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite platform and search OK Storytime to catch up to where we are, and we won't think you're sloppy or weird or put a hex on you, you know? There is another relevant update.
Savannah.
Savannah.
Sorry, the hex is just throwing me.
Like, you're allowed to have different interests.
Exactly.
You're allowed to be different people. That's, I think, what makes relationships stronger is that you learn new things through your differences.
Yeah.
You find new ways to connect, and even if you don't like them, that's fine. That means that you have your own things that are separate and that you can be passionate about.
Yes. I love it. I always think a partnership like should be two people just living their lives together. Not that they have to form into each other and like be like, now we're the same person and we do everything together and we can never separate.
That's
you know, whatever.
suffocating.
That's like too much. I can't. I'm like, I'm going to live my life. You're going to live my life. And we're going to like live it together. And I think that is like perfect harmony.
But we do have an update. So let's get into the update before
thank
Savannah
God.
loses it. We took a break. I'm taking a break from my voice, apparently. It was a while. We made it to couples counseling, and Bailey and I also began seeing separate therapists. She still has not had an assessment, but with a psychiatrist. But it's on the list. She promised to stop and deleted the album in front of me. Slowly, certain clothing items began to disappear from the closet. I still do not entirely trust her, and that is for me to work on. I mean, I wouldn't trust her either. I'm afraid she has another secret account somewhere, like a backup. See, I told you.
Yeah.
Backup account. The physical mimicking is actually stopping, though, including the hair change. We're still not okay. I want us to be okay, and it's okay if that takes time. Okay? If we end up not being okay, then that's something I have to deal with. What I do know is that my wife is incredibly insecure, probably mentally ill, and is misled. I don't really want to walk away from that. But we can walk away from this story because it is done.
Oh, OP, you made me cry. Just kidding, I did that to myself. But, oh my God. What was I even talking about? I would leave. But the thing is, you have a kid, and it's hard when you have a kid because now, like, you have to, like,
integrate them into how this is gonna work and the whole custody thing and all that, blah, 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 and like that's really hard. Oh, lawyer. I thought you said liar, and I was like,
Oh,
no,
no.
that's how I feel.
Lawyer. I should enunciate my words better.
No, it was just honestly, that entire story was like crazy.
It's surprisingly
Crazy.
common for like relationships like this and stories that I've read on like the interwebs.
I just like could not fathom.
There's a lot
I
of
don't wanna
jealousy and
be-
insecurity,
Yeah.
and they're looking for something else to make them more appealing.
Yeah,
I
see,
think.
I hate that. I just wish everyone was like really confident in themselves and could just be like, yeah, this is who I am and I'm comfortable with it. Like, I am who I am and sorry, is it just me?
I respect that so much, yo.
I've never ever like tried to be anyone else. It's so hard.
I sold my grandmother's secret recipe. My family got furious.
Did you sell it to Plankton at the Chum Bucket?
The secret formula. My grandma was a wonderful baker and had a secret cake recipe that she had created herself. It used some very uncommon spice combinations in the cake and frosting that produced a very unique but delicious cake. She would always make it for our big family gatherings, and it was always the most popular dessert. By the way, this comes from Grandma's Cakes, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when she got sick a couple of years ago, she decided to share the recipe so that it wouldn't pass away with her, and offered to give it to any of her kids or grandkids who wanted it. I was the only one who asked for it before she passed away. I don't know why no one else did, as there were several other bakers in the family. After she passed, I took over bringing the cake to family gatherings, and everyone was happy to still be able to enjoy it. I also started making cakes for friends and family, and then for others by word of mouth to make extra cash on the side. My business was really starting to pick up around the time the pandemic hit, as some people who'd had my cakes recommended me to their own friends and family. It soon became too much to keep up with in my tiny home kitchen, so I reached out to a friend who had a catering business with a professional kitchen. Since her business took a big hit with the vid, I made a deal to use her kitchen to make my cakes and help supplement the takeout business she started to get by. My cousin, Jane, recently found out that Grandma's recipe was one of my best sellers and said that I had no right to sell out Grandma's recipe, especially after keeping it all to myself. She had asked for it late last year, but I said no. Interesting. I told her that she had the chance to get it from Grandma before she passed away and didn't seem to care enough to bother then. Since Jane had lost her job, she had decided to try selling cakes too, which I think is why she asked for the recipe. Unfortunately for her, it's not going well. Yeah, 'cause she doesn't have the secret sauce, the secret best cake that's making your business go wild.
Yeah, well, and then you can't be like, hey, that cake that you're selling that's so unique and special that's making you that money, give me the recipe too. I'm going to do the same thing as you. No!
Yeah.
You can't step into my cake market. I don't even care that it was Grandma's recipe at this point. Now it's just business.
Now you're just a competitor.
I mean, and then you add the layer on top of, yeah, remember when Grandma was, passing away and no one cared about the recipe except me?
Yeah. Now you're just wanting the money, huh? The reviews on her cakes have not been good, and no one has been recommending her. Jane said that the only reason my business was doing well was because of Grandma's cake, which she wanted to sell too, and my access to a professional kitchen. The kitchen does help with being able to work on multiple orders at once, but my business is doing well because I actually make good cakes. Jane is a good cook, but not a good baker. She doesn't follow measurements properly and instead does everything to taste, which works for cooking, but not baking.
Yeah, literally the exact opposite of cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. Using too much or too little of any ingredients like flour, eggs, or butter, or even their starting temperature will not give you the result you want. Yeah, I think I might have been like Great British Baking Show or something like that, where they were like, cooking is an art, baking is a science. And
baking
that's
is
like
just math.
the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just so precise.
It's literally chemical transformations.
Well, yeah, there's,
Yeah.
there's just no wiggle room.
No, not at all. Jane is demanding that I either stop selling Grandma's cake or teach her the recipe so that she can too. I refused and said that she was a hypocrite for wanting to sell the cake herself after getting angry at me for doing so. Good point. When she gave me the recipe, Grandma said that her biggest regret was never opening a bakery like she had dreamed, which was my ultimate dream now too. I think she'd love so many people enjoying her cake.
Of course she would.
Am I the a-hole? And we do have some comments, but what do you think?
No.
No. Part of me
No,
thinks...
you even just said it's like it was your dream to have a bakery and sell this cake. Now you're doing that. It's like you've made her dreams come true.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think like on paper, I want to be like, well, she's just doing the same thing as you. Like she just wants to sell it just like how you are. But the way that OP started her business obviously is such a more like pure way to start it. It just kind of happened to grow into a business. It didn't really like, she wasn't like, oh, let me make money off of this recipe.
She's not saying you're only making money because of grandma's cakes. Give me grandma's cake recipe.
Yeah.
I'm making some cake money now.
Right. It's
like,
so much more genuine reasoning and intentions. But comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. She wants to do what you were doing, and you are right. She had the chance to get the recipe herself, but she obviously didn't care to. She doesn't care that it was grandma's recipe. She just cares that now she can profit off of it. If I can't be successful, neither can you, is what she's saying, because she says that you're only really successful because of the recipe, and if she can't use the recipe too, then she wants you to stop using it. The very thing that she says is making you successful. You don't owe her the recipe. If it had meant anything to her, she would have asked for it back then. You and your grandma both shared a love of baking, and you were the only one to inquire about the recipe, so it's now yours to pass on to whoever you wish. Also, baking by taste, how the F does she do that with the batter that has raw eggs and stuff, and making sure that nothing's off too much for it to rise or react like it's supposed to? I bet even if you give her the recipe, she probably would do the same to it and try to one-up you. Comment number 2 says, not the a-hole. The people saying everybody sucks here and that you should share the recipe for the sake of family harmony are giving you bad advice. Guard that recipe with your life. You've created a viable, growing business, and who knows how far you can take it. You could become the next hostess or Little Debbie. Anything is possible. All thanks to Grandma's secret family recipe. A great marketing gimmick. If you share the recipe with your cousin, she could sabotage your success by spreading the recipe around. Sometimes you gotta be ruthless. When you build a multi-million-dollar business, the rest of the family will take your side in any dispute with your cousin. She had her chance and she blew it. That's not your problem or responsibility. I wish you the best of luck. And we do have an update.
Hooray!
Hooray! Shall we get into it?
I want to hear about these cakes.
Me too. All right, updates. Firstly, I opened my bakery. Woo!
Yes.
I found a great spot near my city's office park main commuter route to the big city of caterer takeout deli that closed. We've been open since June and business has been great with all the morning and evening traffic and the lunch crowd from the business park. We sell cakes, pastries, breads, buns, etc. Typical bakery stuff. I also have a cook who comes in for a few hours in the morning to do eggs and stuff for breakfast sandwiches and wraps for the office folks. A few weeks after I opened, Jane stopped by. She apologized and confirmed what I and others had suspected. She only cared about the cake recipe because she was jealous of my success with my custom cake business. She had always wanted to work in food, but hated the idea of losing her evenings and working in a high-pressure kitchen.
Oh. I've always wanted to work in food, but I would hate it.
I would absolutely hate this job that I'm mad at you for having.
It's like being like, I've always wanted to be an astronaut, but I hate math and science.
Yeah, exactly. So when I suddenly started doing so well, she thought that she could do the same, but didn't know how to start her own catering business. I apologized too for not wanting to share the recipe, but I was afraid that she would ruin my business by putting out bad cakes, and no one would want to buy mine either. I then offered to have her come in 3 days a week to offer a soup or stew of the day during the lunch rush. I had the extra kitchen space for it, and soups and stews really do suit her style of cooking to taste. She loved the idea, and they were an instant hit.
There you go. What kind of eatery is this?
They got it all, man.
They got weird cakes and soup.
And soup? Well, they've got like breakfast sandwiches and pastries and stuff. I could see that.
Oh, they got
out.
breakfast Sammys?
You got breakfast Sammys.
No, I just thought they were like cake bakery.
Well, they're it's both.
They're well, clearly they're expanding their borders.
Yeah. She had complete freedom to create whatever 2 kinds of soups she wanted each day, just adding things on a whim, and they were always delicious. They got very popular quickly with the office folk, since there aren't many other takeout options nearby without driving about an extra 5 to 10 minutes out, besides 2 fast food burger places. We soon expanded to her coming in every weekday and then making a cold soup option on Fridays for the Saturday lunch, closed on Sundays. It's been a great arrangement since she keeps her evenings and weekends and gets that creative control. In the last couple of weeks, we've also started doing take-home heat and serve dishes too, like lasagna, chicken, steak tacos, or sub kits. etc. I'll do the pasta and bread and she does the other prep and sauces. So far, they've been very popular. She's tried her hand at baking a time or two again and has declared that she just doesn't have the patience for it and hasn't asked for the recipe again, nor has any other family member. And by the way, they might not have asked for anything else again, but I will continue to ask you to go to your favorite podcast app, whether it's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you choose. Just search OK Storytime, because you know what you're going to find there, Dakota?
2,000 plus episodes full of stories like this.
Many. So that's all I ask of you. I won't ask for your secret recipe, but I will ask that.
My secret recipe is love.
Yeah, that's what we got for you.
That's the whole recipe.
Just love.
Just use the love.
But there is a little bit more into the story. Shall we just roll right into it?
Yeah, I think, look, it's a business decision. You take fam out of it. It was just straight business. And then if you want to make it about the family, it's like, yeah, you didn't ask. And now it's my secret recipe that was passed down to me that has meaning to me now.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe if you would have asked, you would have the recipe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
P.S. For those wondering, Grandma had a standing offer for over a year before she passed away. When she wasn't yet sick enough to stop baking, for anyone to come over and she'd personally walk them through the recipe. She was very sad and disappointed that I was the only one who did so. Aw. The other bakers would always make excuses about time or say later, shortly before she passed away. She said that since I was the only one who bothered, the recipe was mine now. It's still my best-selling cake. Someone responds, Grandma would be happy because the right person got her recipe and now it lives on in a real bakery just like she dreamed of. Someone else responds, but she doesn't know that. All she knew was decades of everyone loving her cake. Then when she offered to share the recipe, everyone but OP saying nah. Comment number 2 says, I'm not saying I want the recipe. I too lack the patience for baking nowadays, which sucks because I used to love baking. But I'm curious AF where OP is and or what the cake tastes like that makes it so unique. And that's the end of that story.
My friend stood me up and now everything's crazy.
Why did you do that?
And I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And let's see what this OP has to say. So, what did my friend, 24 female, lie to me, 29 male about? Her health. 2 months ago, I told her that I liked her and she didn't know if she wanted a relationship with me, but she was willing to try. So we did just that. Or at least I did. I tried. Really hard.
Okay, wow, you're coming off desperate.
I planned dates, dinners, and talked with her for hours about what she would like to do, about her preferences, everything, but I got nowhere. She turned down every date I planned and began canceling plans we had made together, even plans she came up with on her own. This comes from user Her Friends Won't See. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I tried to break it off. Clearly, she wasn't into this, right? Well, no. Each time I suggested we just be friends, she asked, even begged once, for more time or another chance. This continued for more than 2 months, until yesterday. I was stood up yesterday, actually, for the 3rd time. And to be honest, I was pissed off.
That's strike 3. You're out.
Yeah, and it is. So OP ended it. I tried to call her, but she wouldn't answer, so I ended it over text, which is the first time I ever did that, and it felt bad breaking up over text, at least to me. I thought that would be the end of it, but I was wrong. She texted back with every excuse. She said she was busy. Her Steam profile indicated otherwise. She says she's a pro gamer. And I sent her a screenshot showing her play history for the day. And then she told me she overslept. I didn't respond. Then she said she was sorry and that she would make it up to me and that she would never do it again. And each time I just didn't respond. 11 p.m., I heard a knock at the door, and it was her. I planned on telling her off, but I didn't. I just stared at her, frozen like a deer in headlights. This person standing at my doorway wasn't the woman I knew. She was braced against the doorframe, trembling, parts of her body spasming
Nosferatu. She's Lily.
She's
Lily Rose Depp.
So you're her Nosferatu?
Yeah, wait, you're Nosferatu this whole time.
She couldn't speak, but instead made strained, incoherent noises.
Dude, this is literally Nosferatu.
I can't stress this enough. We've been friends for a long time. I know her, and this isn't how she acts when she's upset. She would never throw a tantrum, even during a breakup. I took her inside my apartment and sat her down on my futon. I thought she was just hysterical and that calming her down might help, but it didn't. Things just got worse. For the first few seconds, I thought she was having a fit, but it became clear this was involuntary extremely quickly. She had a seizure in my apartment. This is now hospital time.
Yeah. This is
Hospital?
like, call the doctor.
It felt like it lasted for an eternity, but it was really just a minute or two. I lost my cool when I saw blood coming out of her mouth. She had bit herself.
Oh
But
my
thankfully, she was able to
gosh.
pull herself together and talk to me. She suffers from epileptic seizures, specifically nocturnal seizures. The fatigue and weakness starts between 4:30 and 6. By 8 p.m., speech becomes difficult, and spasms start no later than 9:30. Seizures only happen on bad nights and run from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., and she was having a very bad night. She drove to your place like this?
Wow. I would take her immediately to the hospital.
Hospital. So while my friends were partying on St. Patrick's Day, I sat around my apartment communicating, quote unquote, with my friend who was sitting right beside me. Speech difficulties had already started and learned about her condition and trying to make her comfortable. Oh, so you didn't know?
Oh, wait. Is this why she's always late and like can't come to things?
Could be. Maybe.
Wait,
I don't know.
this changes a lot. Maybe this is the secret that she's been keeping.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, like, still, it doesn't mean that you have to date her because she lied to you, but
okay.
it does add layers.
Everything is getting crazy. She told me everything about how embarrassed she is about all this, about how she hated standing me up, oversleeping, and extreme fatigue, and how difficult it is for her. What got to me most was when she explained that there were times when she couldn't make it and stood me up because she can't call me, no voice, and can't text me with no fine motor skills. She structured her entire life around this. She's the ultimate morning person because she breaks down most nights and can barely function. Okay, I never thought about it before, but it all makes sense now. Out of all my friends, she was always the responsible one, never stayed out late, never did any substances or drank, wakes up every day at 5:30 and usually has all her chores and studying done before most people even leave for work. This also explains her love life, or rather the lack of one. Dating is
Ouch.
difficult, and she's lost people before due to this condition. That's why she didn't tell me. Her social life was destroyed when she was diagnosed in high school, and she's kept her epilepsy hidden ever since. She stayed the night at my place. I'm at work now, and she's alone in my place, sleeping off the seizures. Turns out she has extreme fatigue after one of her bad nights. I guess I do too now. I didn't want to leave her, but her seizures don't occur during the day. She has a pile of pillows, blankets, snacks, and video games, so I think she'll be fine, at least until I get home. I'm glad that she was honest with me, though I wish it hadn't taken a medical emergency to get there. The situation has given me a lot to think about, both about her condition and how we can navigate this going forward. The misunderstanding about her behavior makes more sense now, and I can see why she felt trapped between wanting a social life and managing her health. Our friends know she spent the night location sharing, keeps everyone safe while pub hopping, and also tells your friends who's crashing at your place. And they're sending us both the congrats on getting laid texts. Ugh. To make matters worse, I'm not sure what to tell them. I think you should just be honest with your friends about
feel like
having
you just-
epilepsy, and if
Yeah.
you can't and they don't like you, then they're not your friends, and
Why
that's
would-
okay.
Yeah, they absolutely should know just for your safety.
Yeah, in case of that
Um,
happens.
And
again.
I understand that she's had like bad experiences, but like effectively nothing is changing for them because you are already, not going out at night. So it's not like they are going to have to do really much differently. They're just going to, know relevant medical history about you,
Yeah.
that just in case they need to help you.
So being unsure what to tell them is just a minor problem. Looking back, I understand why she kept this hidden. Dating is difficult with her condition, and she's lost people before because of it. Still, there is the concerning fact that she drove when her license clearly states she can't drive after 7 p.m. on St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
She took a significant risk driving during her vulnerable hours in holiday traffic, which could have been dangerous for everyone involved. So I don't know what to do. I'll see that she gets home, I'm driving, and I'll figure it out from there. I'm posting this on a throwaway so her friends don't see it. She knows I wrote this, and I'll send her a link. Feel free to leave a comment for me, her, or both of us.
That's kind of crazy to be like, this is exactly how I feel. And we're going to see what the people say. And she's also going to read it.
I
guess
think
it's
that's
good.
good.
Yeah, no, I guess it's good.
And
Just,
there is an update
Yeah.
with the friend's point of view.
Oh.
So, wow. This blew up. So to clear up any confusion, I am the best friend / maybe girlfriend OP wrote about. This post was actually my idea. I suggested writing one as a joke the other night. I never thought he would do it, but here we are. So I want to address a few things in the comments. OP isn't a bad person.
I didn't think he was.
Did not come off that way.
Never thought that.
He left out a lot of details in the original post, sparing me from humiliation or something. A lot of the comments called OP a man-child or something to that effect.
What?
Nope, he isn't.
I didn't get that at all.
Man-child.
That's crazy.
No, he's not a man-child. He stayed up all night helping me out, cleaning up after me, and just talking with me. I've seen man-children before, and they don't do that. OP is also honest about his feelings, even the ugly ones. I don't know if you can relate to having chronic illness, but when you do, people treat you like you're made of glass, and it feels awful. OP might not always be the nicest, but he's never fake with me. He treats me no different than any other crazy girl, and I love it. I only talk about my epilepsy on a need-to-know basis.
I feel like your friends need to know a little, like anything.
True. Your friends need to know you have a history of epilepsy or seizures. I only talk about my epilepsy on a need-to-know basis. I'm not ashamed of it. That was speculation on OP's part. I just didn't feel that OP needed to know. Clearly, I was wrong.
Yeah, it might not be like ashamed, like, you know, you might not be ashamed of it, but like clearly there are some sort of unresolved feelings, because why would the person that you're dating not need to know that?
Yeah. I don't have seizures every night, or most nights really, although weakness, dizziness, and mild loss of coordination and slurred speech are common. Showing up at his door was not a romantic gesture. I will explain. So I didn't show up at OP's door to reveal my deepest, darkest secret to him at my most vulnerable time. I'm cracking up just thinking about it. The TLDR would be that I thought I could get away with being out late a bit and bit off more than I could chew. So 7 p.m. St. Patrick's Day, I'm supposed to meet OP and some friends. Around 4:30, I'm feeling okay. So I text OP that I'll make it tonight, and fast forward to 6, and my voice is starting to go, FML. So I call my friend, not OP, a mutual friend, to let everyone know I won't make it, but unbeknownst to me, she has already pre-partied and is about to skip out to chase some guy. 8 p.m. comes around and I'm not feeling too bad, but I get a text from OP, pissed off about how I stood him up. OP stops responding, but my other friends let me know that my friend I had called earlier today totally bailed. Again, FML. I apologize to OP over text, but get no response. And this is where I really effed up. I called my friend, the one from earlier, and yell at her. Girl, yell at yourself. Honestly, like the way that this goes down, it's like I feel like your friends would be quick to jump to like a, does she have like a substance abuse problem? Like she's just like never comes down. She's always at home. Whenever we could talk, she's like slurring her speech. Like what's going on?
And then they just think you're a crappy friend because you're having an a seizure.
That's why communication is the key. I didn't care how I sounded. I was mad. Well, she picks up, and boy, is she ever wasted. The two of us incoherently babble at each other until I just give up. However, after hanging up, I realized something. My slurred speech and my clumsiness, with so many wasted people out and about, I can probably blend right in. This, in retrospect, was a terrible, miserable, horrible idea. I was desperate for a night out. I've never had a night out before, and maybe I could even save things with OP for the night. So I did it. I put the TV on in my room so things wouldn't sound too quiet, dodged my parents, and took the old hand-me-down Ford Focus, that is quote-unquote my car, and went downtown. Yes, Reddit, I'm 24, and I had to sneak out of my parents' house, FML. Well, it's because you're not allowed to drive after 7 p.m. legally, because of your condition. I made it downtown okay before 9:30. My friends were right where they said they would be, and for the first hour, everything worked out. I walked right up to the table and boldly announced, I'm wasted. I wasn't. I didn't drink anything. Everyone bought it too. Honestly, I feel like you're doing more damage like this than you would be by just admitting that you have a condition. I hung out for a while, played pool, and shot darts very badly, but I didn't see OP anywhere. Some of the guys left to go pub hopping, so I thought he was with them, but OP never came back. So around 10:45, I decided to call it a night and swing by OP's place to talk. Things go downhill really fast at this point. As I'm about to leave, a friend yells cheers and hands me a drink, and I drink it like an idiot. I've never actually drank before, and I thought I could just do it. It was maybe half of a brewski. I didn't get anywhere close to finishing it, on a full stomach no less. So what could be the harm, right?
I'm sorry. She's actively having an episode. She's already having an episode.
Yeah.
And is like, yeah, what could be the harm of me drinking now?
I'm really feeling like this whole thing should have just been, instead of you kind of explaining it like it was okay or that it should have been okay, it should be explained like none of this was ever okay.
Yeah.
And
Like, hey, I had this
was,
whole sequence of events that I deeply regret.
After all, everything was going so smoothly. Well, things stopped going smoothly and it got bad really fast. I waved goodbye and headed to OP's apartment, maybe 10 minutes away. I pulled in and got up the stairs when I suddenly lost control of myself and body slammed into his door face first. Thank God that happened when you were at his front door and not behind the wheel of your automobile. Now, I can usually feel an epileptic fit coming on about a minute or so before it happens. It's no big deal. Just stop what you're doing and lay on the floor so you don't fall and concuss yourself. Well, I guess the booze, even just a few sips, screws my brain up enough to not notice a seizure. FML.
Stop
I
saying
don't like
FML.
FML.
Stop saying FML.
It sounds like it's like, that's like not my fault.
Oopsie.
You definitely also shouldn't be drinking a single drop of nothing on
Yeah.
anti-seizure medicine.
Yeah, man.
Because I assume you're taking that.
And this is your first time?
And then
First
you drove?
time. So
Like-
not only did you drive while you were having a episode, you also drove after drinking. I get it was a couple sips. I don't care. Your first time? Come on. Come on.
Okay. OP opens the door and finds me struggling to hold on to the door frame. He helps me inside just in time for me to seizure all over his futon. OP left this part out, but these were far from my normal seizures. Not that he would know. These were really bad. I made a huge mess, and I lost control of my bladder, which almost never happens. So after I pee myself and bite my tongue, I try to explain to OP what's going on in post-seizure voice. He can barely understand me and thinks I'm just extremely wasted. It didn't help that the first thing I said was, it must be the drinks. The rest of the night happens as OP described. And by the way, I will describe how you can listen to full episodes with stories like this. You just have to go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, iHeartRadio. Type in the name of our show, OK Storytime, with your little thumbs, or maybe you can even vocally dictate it, and then you will have access to over 70 days worth of stories.
Boy, oh boy.
That's right. And you can listen to them all.
Yeah. Wow. I think if I were the original OP, I could perhaps, after, having a whole talk, sit down, let's get everything out in the open, could perhaps be friends again.
Yeah.
I would not want to date this person.
Yeah. And it's not because you have epilepsy. It's
No,
because
sir.
you just made a very horrifically poor string of decisions.
Yeah, and it wasn't even
Back to
just
back to
tonight.
back.
It wasn't even just that night. It was you didn't tell people, you didn't tell me for months. We were dating, and you didn't feel like very relevant medical information was worth telling me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, did you not trust me to tell me? How was it not relevant? I don't understand.
And I hope that doesn't get misconstrued as like, and it's because of the epilepsy, like for her or whatever. And it's like, no, it's not because you have epilepsy. It's because you didn't tell me you had epilepsy. And then for months, I thought you just didn't like me at all.
Yeah.
And I tried so hard.
There's a little bit left.
Yeah, there is.
There's a little bit left.
So, he also made me breakfast, and it was an omelet. OP is a good cook. Little omelet boy.
Omelet man.
I didn't feel like eating, however, so it got cold. It looked
Okay.
great.
That's
I'm still bummed out that I missed that omelet.
That sucks.
Okay, so finally the outcome of this crazy night. I have no car. My
Good.
parents have banned me from driving, and not like I can blame them.
Good.
I will never drink again. I had no idea how much booze messes with epilepsy. I mean, I knew it could increase seizure risk, just not how bad it affects seizure intensity. OMG, it's bad. Finally, OP is giving me rides sometimes, and he will make me breakfast again. I just hope I can eat the breakfast next time. So I can't say things are too bad. That's a whole story. That's the whole story, at least. Thanks for reading, everyone. And that is the end of that story.
Man, oh man.
Boy, oh boy. I don't know if everyone knows this. Every single prescription or over-the-counter medication in the United States has a code on it that you can Google, and it will tell you exactly what that thing is.
Yeah.
You never have to be like, I don't know.
My husband secretly blew through our savings.
Well, you should have read the fine print.
My husband is 26 and I am 27. We've been married for almost 2 years, and tonight we had the worst fight we have ever had. I'm seriously considering spending some time apart because I feel completely betrayed. By the way, this comes from Apprehensive Ear 34. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we'll try to give our best advice, but we haven't experienced most of these situations ourselves. So if you have, let us know your take in the comments. We have always been financially responsible. We paid for our weddings ourselves, bought and renovated our homes 4 years ago, and have never really struggled with money. One of the reasons we have done so well is because we committed to savings. When we were aggressively saving for our wedding and home, we put away 30% of every paycheck. After the wedding, we agreed to save 20% of our income to build an emergency fund and plan for the future. I've held my end of that commitment. When my husband's car malfunctioned unexpectedly, I covered the cost of a new one without taking on a car payment. When our HVAC unit failed, I paid for that too. Despite these big purchases, I've still managed to keep up my savings. Tonight, I found out my husband has saved nothing. Our system has always been that his steady paycheck covers our monthly bills, while mine, freelance income, covers larger expenses like student loans and emergencies. It seemed to be working until now. When I have asked why he had not saved anything, he said he did not have the money because he was always paying off the credit card, which he only uses. But going through our budget, he should have at least $3,000 left over every month. When I asked where that money was going, he had no answer. So I checked his statements. Nothing alarming like gambling or cheating, but just reckless and mindless spending. Expensive tech, eating out constantly, ordering lunch at work every day, that'll add up. Spotting his siblings' money for things, impulse purchases, Costco trips that somehow add up to absurd amounts, and just random things that drain everything. It was not one big expense, just a constant stream of unnecessary spending. This is not the first time we have had an issue with his spending. Almost a year ago, we had a serious conversation where I made it very clear that he needed to stick to our financial plan. Not only did he break that promise, but he has almost spent more than he has earned and even dipped into our savings. What hurts the most is that we have always talked about our future and where we see ourselves in 5 or 10 years. He has been the one pushing to start for trying for a baby. I was on the fence, but recently decided I was ready until tonight when I realized he has no savings. Now our timeline for having kids is delayed. Our plan to move out of a town we both hate is out of the window. I feel completely blindsided. He has made multiple promises that he has not kept. And when I asked him what his plan was, he said he would put half of his yearly bonus into savings. We had already agreed that the bonus would go towards paying off his massive student loans. At this point, I do not just feel disappointed. I feel disrespected. I do not understand why he hid this from me or why he thought I would not notice. I have lost so much trust in him, and I do not know how to move forward. Would taking time apart be an overreaction? Can trust even be rebuilt after something like this? I am at a complete loss. We have some comments. Anyone's got any remedies to how to fix this?
My immediate gut check would be y'all need to just have a joint account, but he can't withdraw from it.
Contribute to it, yeah.
Yeah,
We've heard some stuff about that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't say take a break from it.
I have a really good analogy. Okay, so my roommate, Alex, he had a roommate before that would never clean his dishes. And he found out that if he leaves less dishes out, then he would have to clean up less dishes. So in this case, if you have a joint account and you give him kind of an allowance, he's only going to spend what he has. But if you give him access to more stuff, he's just going to spend that. So I think it's okay to spend money on stuff. It's just you have to limit what he can spend money on. And I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's anything else alarming here.
I think it would be, it should always come from when you're in like a marriage or relationship like that and something like this is happening. It's like, I would come from a place of love, just being like, this is just because we want to build up our future, and I see a future with you and I see a future together. And it's like, this is really important for things to go well that we do this and we stick to this.
Yeah.
And it might be hard for you to stick to it. That's fine. I still love you. Let me help you.
It's hard to respond given that you haven't said what he's been blowing thousands on every month without that being noticeable to you. Something is weird about this story. Obi says, honestly, it doesn't completely make sense to me either. When I went through the statements, it was just a ton of random purchases, tech, eating out, ordering lunch for work almost every day, spotting his siblings for money, impulse buys, Costco trips that added up way more than I realized, and just general mindless spending. Nothing huge on its own, but over time, it drained everything. I trust that he was sticking to our agreement, so I wasn't monitoring it closely, which is why it all hit me so hard. We have an update. First off, my husband is not some reckless mooch, and this is not a case of me supporting him while he blows through money. He actually covers most of our monthly bills, while I handle the bigger but less frequent expenses like quarterly and annual payments. That setup works for us since my income is not the same every month. He's also an incredibly generous person. He loves picking up the tab for friends, buying gifts just to make people smile, and always putting others first. That generosity is one of the things I love most about him. But when you are not keeping track, it adds up fast. And for those assuming I do not make real money because I run my own business and do freelance work, this is my first year going full time instead of working a 9 to 5 and then grinding on my business at night. I would not have had the courage to do that without him. And I never would have made the leap if I did not have a partner with a steady paycheck, even though my business has been doing really well. And guess whose business that is, Redditors? Hers and her husband's.
It's their business.
It makes me so mad when people are like, he's paying for everything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, that's on them. That said, I know I have failed as a partner too. He was not upfront with me when he started struggling to pay off his credit cards. And while he absolutely should have told me, I should have checked in more. I thought he was spending the way he was because he was still able to while keeping up with our savings. Instead, he was dipping into our savings to cover his credit card. And instead of telling me, he tried to handle it himself. He knows that that's not okay. But I also need to make sure he feels comfortable coming to me before things get to this point again. To clear up a few things, no, he's not trying to trap me with a baby. We both want kids. It's just about timing. No, I am not unemployed. I run a successful business and do freelance work too. Just because I do not get paid on a bi-weekly schedule does not mean I do not make good money. Yes, small purchases add up. Lunches out, spotting friends, video games, gifts for family, random Amazon orders. It all snowballed into $3,000 a month before he even realized what was happening. And you better get your stuff together and realize that we have more stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Do it right now.
That's right. That's right.
Keon Dakota.
$3,000 is a month is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta
mean,
know what you're
yeah.
spending. I really want to know what you're spending it on.
Yeah. I'll be honest, a little transparency. I had a little bit of money saved up for doing, like, I paid off my car recently,
Yeah.
paid off my credit card stuff and some other things. I saved some money and I've decided to put a little bit away for future savings. And then, you know, I really want to keep my expenses under like X amount so I can pay off other stuff. But it's tough. It's really tough because it's like, I want a standing desk. Oh, I got to buy my girlfriend something for her birthday coming up. Oh, I got a party coming up. It's just really hard, but you have to, I would like it if Angie handled my money and then she's like, here's $300 for the week. Great.
Yeah.
I only have $300 to
that's
my
how
name
they
this
do it in
week.
Japan.
That's what my grandma and grandpa does.
Yeah.
My grandpa does not see any of his paycheck. He just has cash from his bonuses, and he just lives life that way.
Not an expert in the financial budgeting, planning, scheming. I would probably be this guy. If I was this guy and my wife came to me and was like, let me help you, I'd be like, thank you. If I'm dipping into the savings to try to cover my credit card because I know I look bad, I'd be like, I'm so glad you found out because I've been so stressed out.
Yeah.
Can you please just help me?
Please help me.
Not be this way. And that's what, being a team is all about.
We got a little bit left here, guys. Moving forward, we agreed to close most of his credit cards, put his full paycheck into our joint account instead of just half, so we both have visibility on spending, and stick to a firm budget that still gives him personal spending money. We have not decided yet if we would fully merge everything, but we're going to be a lot more open and accountable with each other. At the end of the day, this is not a deal breaker for me. I love my husband, and I know he loves me. We both want this to work, and we are both putting in the effort to make sure it does. Thanks to everyone who gave helpful advice. Hopefully, this is the last time we ever have this fight. I like these parameters put in place. This is
I
healthy.
do. I think that was the right move. I don't think it needed any more of a response than that, or
Yeah.
any more of a, did not warrant an extreme response.
Yeah, agreed.
I think if it was like, you know, he's taking out like a reverse mortgage and like, you know,
Gambling.
signing your name on like, you know, credit cards and like taking credit lines in your name and like, yeah, like gambling. That's when it's like, okay, this is actually like, this is extreme. So I'm going to step away because I need time to process what I have just learned about you. But, you know, again, I think we did it. I think that was the right move.
That was the right move.
My mother-in-law insulted my cooking after I made it specifically for her.
Ooh, no more cooking for her.
My mother-in-law moved in with us 3 months ago. Temporary but long-term situation. I've been struggling to adjust to her intrusive and at times overbearing presence, but overall she does love me and has good intentions. She does her best to be kind, I think. I believe the intrusive behaviors come from cultural differences, but it can be very suffocating and offensive sometimes. By the way, this comes from Banana Bread 5241. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon, and we both have allergies.
And we both have allergies. But we're here to give good advice goofily anyway. But we don't have all the answers. We only have allergies. So let us know what you would do in the comments. She's decided to go vegan for Lent. I wanted to do something nice for her, so I decided to go the Impossible brand vegan ground beef and make a dish out of it. It took me almost 2 hours in the morning to prep, and then another 3 in the evening to actually cook. Food finally is ready to eat, and she's being very nice at first. I say to my husband and her how crazy it is that Impossible brand tastes so much like real meat. And we're talking about how they do it and how impressed I am by how it can taste and have the texture exactly like real ground beef. She was really excited that this is even an option during her vegan period. Fast forward, as I'm putting the leftovers away, she comes up to me and starts critiquing the food. It's good, but I think you need to add these spices to make it taste more like meat, and then it would be better. It doesn't taste like meat. She proceeds to repeat her critiques a couple of times over the course of the evening, always in a moment where my husband is just out of earshot so he can't hear her. Not sure if that's on purpose or not, but yeah, I know it seems small and overall she was grateful for the meal, but for me this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It's always little comments like this throughout the day, always her trying to teach me how to do everything as if I'm not a fully grown woman and she simply knows all, which is ironic because most days she's always doing at least one thing that makes me wonder if she's a little slow. Always breaking things, never listens to house rules, etc. I didn't even have to cook for her. I did so out of kindness. And then after hours of effort, she decides she'd like to teach me how to cook. Cooking is my happy place and my hobby. Perhaps I'm being too sensitive here, but it's the one thing I know I'm an expert at. I've been told as much, and I find it ridiculously insulting. I'd never want someone to lie if they don't like my food, but if you don't like it, just don't eat it and move on. It's rude to offer opinions on advice unsolicited, especially when literally 1 day ago she didn't even know vegan meat existed. Like at all. She immigrated here recently from a country that doesn't have that sort of thing, apparently. And suddenly she's an expert on how to use it in cooking? Am I overreacting or reading too deep into it?
I don't know. I just love it how she's like, this meat could taste like meat if
Could
you made
taste
it.
meatier.
You know what it needs? Meat.
I think it just needs meat, girl. Sorry, guys. Been bottling up my frustrations and just needed to vent. I know it's a minor thing. This morning, she brought out her little cookbook to make a cake and said, I really wish this book was in English because that would be helpful for you. Somebody please take me off a ledge. I ignored her comment entirely, but I'm really close to being a witch at this point. My husband is gone at work right now. Go figure. I will say that one, I feel like it depends on how she said it.
I feel like
Because that could just be like, hey, like, I want
a cake. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that, because I want to make this cake, but it's not in English. So if you ever wanted to make a cake from this cookbook, you couldn't. I feel like that.
If someone's
may be what
sharing
she was-
recipes, I get that's how she delivered it.
Yes.
But if someone's sharing recipes, I think especially for like people who love to cook,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like one of the most like
I love sharing recipes with people.
it's like one of the most grateful things you can do among people.
But there is an update. Well, you were all right. She's not well-intentioned and innocent after all. Her and her 2 daughters are both toxic as heck, and her true colors finally showed. He comes from a Middle Eastern household and they're Christian. She tried to cite the 10 Commandments as her reasoning. I went to Catholic school for 18 years growing up, and I'm very aware of the fact that the Bible states that nobody except God himself comes before your wife, but I digress. Oh, she also stated that she's not living with us. Then my husband will be paying for her to have a place to stay and have his own bank account just for her expenses, and that this was also end of story. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law's justification for this is because she paid for his medical school, and you guys wouldn't be here without mother-in-law's financial support.
Oh my, I love you wouldn't be here if I didn't, have
Yeah.
you kind of thing. You're like,
okay,
huh?
Thanks. This is simply untrue for 2 reasons. I have never, ever accepted any sort of financial assistance from her myself, and my husband never asked her for help. She gave it to him willingly because that's what parents do. It wasn't money she earned, it was money father-in-law had set aside for him many years ago for his education. And if they hadn't done that, my husband was fully prepared to pull out student loans. Me and my side of the family have collectively paid more than half of our rent and bills for the past 5 years. I honestly am too tired to explain how we got here in this big argument. Maybe I'll make another post later. I'll probably post later today about how absolutely insane his family has been towards me and us for the past 2 days. For the record, my husband does not agree that mother comes before wife. He does believe it is his duty to take care of her if she cannot care for herself, which I've never been against because we both love her, and I want the same for my mom too, as long as it isn't impacting our finances or marriage. Currently, mother-in-law is impacting both. Anyways, my husband is finally aware of how she treats me because I recorded the conversation. Thanks for the advice, Reddit. He's working 100-hour weeks right now with 0 days off for the next few weeks, so he hasn't had time or energy to address it, but he has assured me that he is going to once he can. That might be a while, it would seem. Until then, all I have is the ability to vent about it on Reddit. Love that for me. Am I the a-hole for not thinking that the cultural standards he was raised in applied to us and our marriage? Because I am 50% of this household, in my eyes, when we got married. We left our old lives behind and started a new family with our own family culture that can be whatever we want it to be. And there is a third update. It was a group call between me, husband, mother-in-law, and the 2 sister-in-laws. A lot happened, but at one point they were all ganging up on dear husband.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, they're probably bullying him to do this.
It's going to be the thing of like everyone's like, this is someone disagrees, and like it starts getting to like a huge ruckus, and they're diverting the anger to somebody in the group. I was going to say either husband or OP.
Yeah. About how he never emotionally validates them when they're upset. Sister-in-law made a comment saying, when we visited for Christmas, I saw you comforting and validating OP, and it made me jealous. She continued on about how he hasn't been a good brother or good son lately. Nobody else seemed to clock that comment, but I did. She said this to illustrate how she wishes he would comfort and validate her when she's upset the way he does me. But let's be for real. The real message behind all of this was really, we're jealous of your wife. The truth finally slipped up. I just looked at my husband and quietly said, and there it is. For context, my mother-in-law lives with us and his whole rest of his family, both sister-in-laws plus older sister-in-law's husband, stayed with us for almost 2 weeks during Christmas. He was comforting me a bunch because of the amount of stress we were both under, having to host them for Christmas at our house, because they were being difficult guests. Despite my knowing this would be a hard time for me, I welcomed them with open arms and was bending over backwards to accommodate them. So yeah, he was comforting me and validating me when I wanted hugs and kisses. I'm sorry your brother wasn't hugging you enough. What do you mean you're jealous? I honestly cannot with these guys. Anyway, how's your week going? Edit. To clarify, the sister-in-law who is married isn't the one that made this comment. It was the younger sister-in-law that said it. They are all fully grown adults, by the way. Younger sister-in-law does have a boyfriend that wasn't present over the holiday. And there is a 4th update. Never mind the fact that my own husband has directly told her that he believes God has acknowledged me as his wife and that she was out of line for even saying that at all. Never mind the fact that neither of us is nearly as religious as she is to begin with. Also, that if we had kids in her country, they'd be considered illegitimate children and would not get any inheritance if my husband passed away. My response? Well, I guess it's a good thing we don't live in that country. and that husband doesn't have any assets there to inherit to begin with. Finally got her paperwork in order, and my husband has finally seen her for who she is. A disrespectful, entitled mother-in-law from heck. He's agreed that once she leaves this time, we will be informing her that she's no longer allowed to live with us any further. She will likely insist that he pays for her to live elsewhere, even though we can't afford it, and also want to save up so we can actually live our own lives. But at this point, I'd rather lose money just to get her out of my hair than have to suffer another moment longer with her in my house. My peace comes at a financial price, it seems, and frankly, I'm willing to pay it. During the fight, my mother-in-law said a few other lovely nuggets. She told my husband that he only has one mother, but he could have many different women if he wanted. She insisted that she wasn't mean, but that she could be mean if she wanted to. She even added that she could say things like, my sister-in-law is better than me, but she chooses not to. I'm sorry. She says to you, I could say that your sister-in-law is better than you.
I could say it.
I could say it,
But I'm not
but
going
I
to.
won't. That's you saying it, girl. You just said it. By the way, you can say that you'll listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. She accused us of installing security cameras just to spy on her all day, even though we've had them for 5 years because of our dog and she's only been living with us for 6 months. Finally, she claimed that my father-in-law's biggest regret was letting my husband come to this country, saying that I was taking him away from his family. Anyways, I'm at my wit's end. I told husband that I'm giving him until July. If I don't see a purchased plane ticket by then with a specific date in hand that says exactly when she's leaving, and if said flight is not sometime before the end of this year, then I will be moving out by the end of July. I won't divorce him, but I won't be living like this anymore, and I sure as heck won't be paying rent or utilities here if I move out. And that is the
Aw.
end of that story.
I don't like ultimatums.
My friend accused my fiance of wanting to cheat with her, but something feels off.
You should talk to your fiance about that.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Whoa.
I had been friends with this girl, Kelly, for about 14 years at this point in my life, along with both her sisters, Allie and Bella. I was basically part of the family. I knew everyone and grew up with them. We were all really close. At first, I was super close to Bella growing up, and then later closer to Kelly. By the way, this comes from user NewShine2, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit where this story was submitted. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't know all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, I ended up getting a divorce from my husband and rekindled with my ex a little after, moving in with Allie. She helped me get a job where both Kelly and her were working, so it was cool. It was our little trio working together, all in different departments. Well, my ex and I were going through a lot. He was being dumb and cheating, so I cut it off and ended up hitting it off with one of my coworkers, who is my fiance today. Although I was living with Allie, I hung out with Kelly all the time at her place and was basically living there. My fiance would come over and hang out with me there all the time. After a while, I could tell she was starting to have a crush on him. At work, she would talk about how cool he was and all the cool things he was doing, to the point where I stopped engaging because I got uncomfortable. At this point, I didn't say anything because I didn't know how to approach it and wasn't sure if I was overreacting. He would help pick up her house or cook dinner for me, but include her because it was her home, so he didn't want to be rude. She started making comments about how we were all basically in a relationship together, and he didn't know what to do. It made him instantly uncomfortable, but he was new and didn't know if he would cross a boundary with me saying something. I stayed silent because I was kind of shocked. I think she could tell because she never made a comment like that again. I stayed around because she remained respectful for the most part, but there were times where I felt I wanted to end the relationship because of how she acted around him. We ended up having our first son together, and at this point, everything between us was normal and fine. Then, my friend got her pictures done. They turned out nice, but could have been better for them being professionally taken, so we thought we would try to open our business together, the three of us. Now, this is where things started getting weird. My fiance and I were secretly trying for another baby and kept this to ourselves because we wanted to surprise everyone in a cute way once I was pregnant. This is an important side note, back to all of us trying to get our business started. There was a lot of excitement, and we even brought in another friend to help model and possibly join us. All three of us, besides Kelly, had similar ideas and started clashing, so we decided to open it up kind of like a tattoo parlor shop so we could all share our ideas without feeling like our opinions weren't wanted. We thought it would help bring in more clients since we had different tastes. I admit some tension happened, but nothing we weren't able to get over. The photography we wanted to do was boudoir, weddings, and maternity shoots. We started with boudoir because we had enough models volunteer, including me and my friend. Her sister was going to let her use her spare garage room as a studio so we could have clients come in a private area. We could have furniture, a background drop, and everything we needed. We all cleaned out the garage together. The next day, Kelly and my fiance were to go get a couch. I know 100% my fiance was never into my friend. He's never done anything to break my trust. She took her company truck, which had cameras, and picked him up to grab the couches. The next day, my friend and I planned to model in lingerie to start our portfolio. My fiance and our other friend were going to practice taking pictures with our new camera. That same day, I found out I was pregnant, and we were both ecstatic. During the photo shoot, Kelly acted normal and excited to practice. She picked up our friend without issue, and overall, we were just vibing and having a good day. About a week later, she and my fiance got in an argument, possibly over the business, but I can't remember exactly. It wasn't a good fight. Out of nowhere, she and her sister called me and told me to talk with them privately, and Kelly started saying my fiance had said he wished he'd met her first, hoped to have her babies, and that he loved her and hated me. He literally came home that night telling me about their conversation in the truck. He said he was venting to her about thinking it was crazy he didn't meet either of them first because they had been working there longer. He mentioned talking about being a baby juice donor for a sapphic couple but didn't go through with it, and he was slightly fighting me before he left, so he vented to her. Of course, he followed me and looked confident I wouldn't believe her, but at first, I did believe her because she was my friend of 14 years. Why would she lie? But I also knew she isn't the type to keep silent. She would have told everybody that same day. The other friend at the photography session said Kelly was texting her, saying she was uncomfortable and didn't want to participate. The day Kelly called me, she frantically started calling our friend, telling her not to answer my calls until she spoke to her. The friend answered, and Kelly started telling her what she told me about my fiance, but kept switching her story. She seemed like she was lying and got weirded out, so she called me. I asked if she had said anything a week before about being uncomfortable. She said no. She was really excited for the photo shoot and sent me screenshots of her messages. At this point, my fiance was hurt because 1, our friend said these things about him, and 2, he didn't think I would believe her because he thought we had more trust. He texted her to send over the camera footage for proof and asked why she was doing this and that she was lying. She freaked out, called him disgusting, and said he didn't deserve his family and threatened to do anything to make me leave him. So I think it's time we are done associating with Kelly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, this all could have probably been taken care of if you had the first time she said, it's like we're all dating. It's like we're all a couple.
You're like, no, not actually, though. You're
No,
not
yeah.
in this.
Yeah, it's really like we're a couple and you're also our friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew in my gut he didn't do it. The way he reacted and how she went about things was strange and sent red flags. I finally blocked her and said I didn't need the camera footage to know the truth. She then started making posts calling my fiance a disgusting cheater and saying I was a bad friend who chose to end things when things didn't go her way. She even tried to call my fiance a PDF file, and at this point, she also accused her ex-husband and her sister's boyfriend of the same. She was losing her mind. She had my sister and her do witchcraft to break us apart. Why is your sister assisting in this?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Don't do witchcraft on me, sister. Gross. She was also really jealous I was becoming friends with our other friend without her. I would visit her house, and she would want to know everything we talked about and obsessed over it. And by the way, you can obsess over full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast app, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, just search OK Storytime, and you've got a whole avalanche of stories to listen to. We have a little bit more story left.
Wow, she sounds miserable, Kelly.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
there,
come on.
were there no warning signs like ahead of time other than just
It's like we're all in a couple.
was that it?
There had to have been more. I mean, sounded too like she was also just causing drama within the business and like her own ideas and not like agreeing. But like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like your idea. I'm going to implode the entire operation.
Yeah.
Let's finish this. In all honesty, I don't know why she did what she did. To this day, my fiance has never cheated or broken my trust. We both sit back and wonder why it happened. We feel like we lost a good friend, but after everything, I wouldn't rekindle the friendship, especially with what she said about my fiance to my sister. What are your opinions on this, and why do you think Kelly did all of this? Could it have been because of our friend? I don't drive for personal reasons. He was the only way I can see her. Was it because she loved him and he started fighting with her about our business? Was it because of the problems with the business? Any thoughts are appreciated. I'm tired of reliving this in my head, and no, there won't be any updates. I don't plan on talking to her again. And there are some comments. Comment 1, I could be wrong, but sometimes people sabotage their friends when they themselves are not happy. I don't know the motivation for sure, but painting people as evil, cheating, when you see those same people as friends, mean you don't see the world the same way anymore. You are no longer friends. Is she jealous of your joy? Is she in love with you? Is she sad she's alone? I don't know. She's using lies to manipulate you, so she is no longer a friend. And that is the end of that story.
Yeah, she sounds like she's just jealous and not loving her own self.
Yeah.
So
I don't think the reasons really matter that much. I
Yeah.
just think it's
time to
it's
say bye.
what matters is that she's no longer around.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.